you right though, and they're giving you good customer service, quality food, support your people. Give them some money. You know what I mean? Don't try your best to keep that money circulating with us if they're doing right. Now, if they ain't doing right, that's another story. Then fuck them.
Okay, we have a few new people on the panel. What's up, Hazel? What's up, Suki? What's up, Resistance? Hey, Just. Anybody want to speak to the topic? Go ahead, Resistance.
No, I say good morning.
Resistance, you came in with the flag of Israel with the, sign over it. Tell me about that real quick.
Oh, the reason why I have the Israeli flag X'd out is because they're an uncivilized nation, backed by the colonizers of America and the European nations. And they're killing a lot of colored people.
He's right. As far as Israel, who's running all that, that's the Ashkenazi Jews, from Europe, the European Jews. And they're the ones that did away with Yeshua the Messiah. And people, are so quick to be like, oh, Israel and all this, that, and I love Jerusalem. Because, the true Hebrews, and I'm talking about the specific bloodline that God, see, we're getting off topic. Never mind.
Yeah, you dumb bitch. You brought it up yourself, the motherfucking bloodline.
Because a lot of Israeli society are not even religious. I don't know if you know that. So, yeah, even though the government is headed by some Ashkenazis, the reality is a lot of them are secular and atheists. It's really the society that have the issue with, has nothing to do with really faith, because a lot of those people are just racist and psychopathic.
Hey, so Resistance, what's your take on the society in America right now?
Oh, America's always been in shambles. I mean, there's no equality for certain kind of people. There's definitely no camaraderie with the people. It's a failing state, man. It's a failing nation. You got white supremacists running things out in the open. There was camouflage before. At least the Democrats camouflaged it. Didn't make them better because at least, I still knew it. But, America's really in a tough situation, man.
We've been in a tough situation, though. I think Charlie's death, it might have been a distraction, but I think I think it should have made us realize who our real enemy is and who really runs our country. I mean, if you guys haven't figured that out by now, especially after this man's death, then I think we're in some fucking trouble, for real.
Well,
see,
that is, because I have my theory, but I want to hear yours. Who is?
All right, I'm going to wake it up for you. So, one thing I realized, right, and this all has to do together, every time Israel do some fuckery, America always give them the green light. Every time Israel does some fuckery, America backs them up. So I said, what the fuck does Israel have on America? They must have us on some blackmail shit, like they gotta have Trump on some shit. I'm thinking all crazy shit. Then I said, you know what? Who the fuck run our government? Politicians, senators, House of Reps. So I said, let me look up how many senators take money from AIPAC. Now, if no one knows who AIPAC is, that's a Jewish lobbyist group that champions for the forefront of Israel. So I look out of 100 senators, United States senators. Do you know how many of them take money from AIPAC as top contributor? How many? Take a guess. I want y'all take a guess in the room. There's 100 senators. How many of them do you think are recipients of AIPAC money?
100%. 100%.
Very close. 85. 85 of these motherfuckers take money from AIPAC. So now, the House of Representatives got 435. Over 250 takes money from AIPAC. So now it makes sense every time fucking Israel do something, America back them, because our policymakers are fucking getting paid by these guys. It doesn't matter what you want, what I want, what the American people want. It's what the fuck the lobbyists want. So what did I learn from Charlie Kirk? Well, I mean, Candace used to be good friends, or they still are, but the little dispute was about that same country. Candace seen what I'm talking about. Charlie didn't see it until it was too late. See, the problem is with these fucking people, right? And it's not the Jewish people. I'm talking about Netanyahu and his motherfucking crew. He's been in power over 20-something years. The problem is, it's not about blackmail. These motherfuckers move like the mob. Once you ask the mob for help and they help you, you now belong to them. You don't walk away from them. You belong to them until they have no more use for you. It's the same thing with our fucking senators, and the same thing happened with Charlie. You took these motherfuckers' money, and once you take the money, you can't give it back. So the only thing left now is to fulfill whatever fucking agenda, policies, or legislation I need you to pass. And if you can't make it happen, nigga, I'm taking your job, or I might just offer you. I don't give a fuck. Ain't no man nigga in the program.
Yeah.
So meaning, I'm gonna give you a prime example. Clinton.
Hold on,
Monica
brother. We get to
Lewinsky.
you.
Clinton, Monica Lewinsky. Netanyahu, during the Abraham Accord meeting, pulled him to the side and asked him to release a gentleman by the name of Jonathan Pollard. Who's Jonathan Pollard? A U.S. Navy intelligence officer that was stealing nuclear secrets and giving it to Israel. Got caught and got a life sentence. At the time, your FBI director was Tenet. Your boy Clinton came back and asked him to release him, and Tenet told him, motherfucker, I release him, I'm gonna resign, and I'm gonna expose all this shit. So guess what? Clinton couldn't do it. Guess what? Lewinsky happened. Now, when you go and you do your research of how even Lewinsky ended up in that motherfucking White House and see who hired her.
Epstein.
No, not Epstein, but one of MC's homeboys. You see what I'm saying? So what I learned from Charlie, we don't own our government. I don't give a fuck if you're Republican and Democrat. And I thought we learned that last year after learning that our president ain't really shit, don't do shit. We had Biden for 4 years. We probably seen him 2 times out of the 4 years, so we know our president ain't running shit. So it doesn't matter if it's Biden or Trump or whoever, fucking Clinton. Our government is controlled by Israel. You ain't gotta look far. I just told you, 85% of our fucking senators take money from these niggas. Over half of our House of Representatives take money for these niggas. So when they're up there passing legislation or voting on laws or vetoing shit like, get the fuck out, stop fucking helping Israel, killing these people, why do you think America always stand next to Israel? Because our politicians are bought already, and why we are not recognizing this. This is what I'm bugging the fuck about. I hear what's always talking about, the white man, the black man, and this man and that man. No, your fucking
You know how
government
many
got
people
stolen.
today came in with the Israel talk, and nobody said nothing. It's not like it's on.
And that's the problem.
You know?
Motherfuckers afraid to speak about Israel, and this is another thing I learned from Charlie. This whole shit, this whole distraction they're doing. Let me ask you something. If we were in fucking Nazi Germany, could you talk bad about the Nazis? Yes or no?
Absolutely not.
If you was in communist China, could you talk bad about them?
Nope.
Communist Russia.
Absolutely not.
But we could come to America and talk about our government, correct?
We're supposed to be able to.
Okay, so how are you going to try to penalize us? How are you going to try to penalize us for talking about a foreign government like Israel? This is the play I'm trying to show y'all. We here talking about, your freedom of speech killed Charlie. It ain't about fucking Charlie. These motherfuckers is manipulating and taking over your government right in front of your face and distracting us with this fucking race shit. Distracting us with Republican or Democrats. They're the same fucking boat because they all getting paid by the same motherfucking shit. What the fuck is wrong with us? We gotta wake the fuck up and put all this shit to the side. What we should be screaming about and saying, why is 85% of our senators taking foreign fucking money? Ted Cruz proved it when he went up there, no, we gotta back Israel. The Bible says so. They need to smack the fucking fire out that nigga. Why are we not pressing our politicians and demanding and asking them, why are they taking this money from this fucking foreign entity? Because as soon as you do, just like Kennedy and his brother, you get your head knocked off. As soon as you start talking, just like Charlie, you're gonna get your shit twisted. So is that what it is? These motherfuckers got us in fear? Let me know, bro. Because I'm a little bit confused.
Yo. That's why that woman the Jewish woman was online. She was like, the problem is the YNs. And I was like, what?
Oh, I'm glad you said that. Because nobody believed me when they said that. See, that wasn't even supposed to come out. These motherfuckers said the future threat to Israel young black American males. Bitch said this 6 months ago. All of a sudden now, Trump want to put National Guards in where the majority of young black males are. And we motherfuckers talking about, yeah, these YNs out here wailing. Yeah, we need to curb it. I said, do you niggas know American fucking history? Prohibition was more violent than it is today. The crack pandemic was more violent than it is today. National Guards never came out. You know when the National Guards came out? During the Civil Rights Movement. What the fuck are we doing, bro? Are we this naive and gullible that we're gonna fall for the fucking banana and tailpipe again? Come on, people.
Yeah, them young niggas, they already know that them young niggas, they don't give a fuck about the system. Like, they don't care about the system that was put in place and none of that shit. So if it was any time to revolt and anybody would do it, it would be them because they don't fear, nor do they give a fuck about the consequences. And these people know that shit. So what they do is they tend to make it seem like, even though them niggas is hell on wheels, it's almost like getting us to go against them when they goddamn really the only motherfucker they gonna stand up and actually take action. Cause niggas, we don't do nothing but sit around and talk about it, especially niggas in their 30s and 40s. Like, niggas ain't really trying to get out there and got kids and all type of shit. Them young niggas ain't got shit to lose, and them white folk know it.
That's a fact, bro. And this is the shit that I'm telling people. The reason why they look at the young black male as Israel's future fucking threat, because they already know they're gonna dominate and take over our country. Only one they gotta pass is a white Protestant, and this is what they're doing right now. This is what they're doing right now. I hear people sit back and say, yeah, let these crackers fight each other. Okay, but one of these crackers you was fighting for over 400 years. This other cracker you don't know nothing about. And if this other cracker takes over your government, because the fight that's happening is not bombs and shit being dropped. The fight that's being fought is the internal battle for your fucking government that we are losing. Once they take control of our government, you think shit gonna be easier for you? You think they're gonna be like, yeah, you know what, these guys been treating you guys bad for 400 years, we gonna make it better now. No, these are the same motherfuckers that come in our neighborhood, buy up our property, and do the shit the fuck they do. You understand what I'm saying? And then he come, and you gotta watch the play, bro. Before they did this whole shit with the National Guard, they came out with the black fatigue shit to get our minds in the right place and understand this is what we want you to think as far as the agenda. These niggas been pulling a Trojan horse game on us forever. They come under one flag with their real intentions is something else. But they're gonna sell it to you. Yeah, we need a National Guard there because these YNs is acting up, right? Yeah, send them. Now they're there. Now we're gonna really implement what it is. It ain't these young niggas, it's all you niggas. Because Israel realized that we've been such a resistance against these motherfuckers so long that if they do take control, we are gonna be the problem. And that's what I was telling somebody. At the end of the day, America's last stand is us niggas. Yeah, believe that shit. It's us niggas. So if we stop and we don't get the fuck out of this white thing versus black thing, and I'm not saying that's not an issue, but where we at now, this issue super exceeds what the fuck is happening. I just told y'all the statistics of your politicians. These are the niggas that make your legislations, your policy, and also determines your tax. Why do you think tax keep coming up? Because we keep funding these motherfuckers. And why do we keep funding them? The American people keep saying, why the fuck are we supporting Israel? And I've always said this, if you really want to know who your true president is going to be, it's the nigga that comes in and say, Israel got to get the fuck up out of here. But ain't none of them going to ever say that.
Nah, on some real shit, Trump was on that until whoever is the big dog made the call because he was trying to
Yeah, drain the swamp. And you're right.
With the shit that Buddy was doing. And then as soon as whoever the fuck called or made some call down there's got a bigger head than him, that nigga changed the motherfucking tune like the following week. And it's like, God damn, you fuck with them niggas.
You don't think his mind changed after that bullet passed his face? This is what I'm telling people.
Oh, you talking about Israel? Yeah.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying.
He realized that nigga realized. Hey, boy, this shit deeper than what I thought.
Thank you, brother. And that's what I said. And you know how I got that proof? Think about this, Ink. You running for president. Niggas just trying to kill you the same way they killed Trump. You find out your fucking Secret Service was compromised. When you become president, you're going to leave it alone, Ink? You ain't going to look into it?
Right. Hey, look, check this out.
I haven't heard Trump make one message about niggas trying to knock his head off.
Well, Trump never
to be that powerful.
at all, actually, on Israel. That's actually wrong. He's always supported Israel, and even with his first term, he illegally gave Jerusalem as the capital of Israel.
That's a fact.
Which is occupied territory. That was illegal. He helped almost recognize illegal settlements in the West Bank. So Trump has never done anything.
That's a fact.
No, he never went against Israel.
Fact. Let that man finish.
Yeah, no, you gotta say he changed. He was singing a different tune. No, what he was actually doing during his campaign was lying and manipulating what all candidates do in terms of stopping wars and funding other nations with American tax dollars. But as we've seen, he actually didn't do anything. Even from the beginning, he was giving more money, more aid, more weapons to not only Ukraine but also Israel. Nothing ever dropped, and he exceeded it. And then that's when he came out with the propaganda that America's going to take Gaza and make it theirs.
So again, this is what I'm saying.
Their language.
This is what I'm saying. Trump never said he was going against Israel. The problem with Trump is the same problem they would have had with fucking Charlie Kirk in the future. He wasn't controllable. Until that shot passed his fucking face was when he realized, okay, listen, ain't nobody gonna sit in that big chair in the White House if Israel do not put you there. That's number one. This is what the Electoral College is about. I just told you, between the senators and House of Representatives, who the fuck controls them. So it doesn't matter if our votes say, yeah, we want this one. If that doesn't go to the agenda, we go to electoral votes. So again, Israel even controls that. Nobody sits in that fucking White House since Kennedy if Israel has not approved of it. Okay? Now, y'all might say I'm bugging the fuck out. Prove me wrong. Okay? So that's one. What the problem with Trump is the same problem that happened with Charlie. Charlie was the future president of the white conservative. If you guys don't want to believe me, I don't give a fuck. Vance would probably get next year because I see no other candidate stepping out yet. And after Vance, that would have been Charlie's qualification over the age of 35 to make him president. He would have been the next fucking champion. This is why Israel was on his dick so hard, because now we don't just have to do what we do to have the president. He's coming in here already riding with us. But when he started speaking up against certain things, he became compromised. You understand what I'm saying? It's the same thing with Trump. Trump is with them, but Trump is trying to step over that boundary like he really runs shit. That right there was to let Trump know you're going to win the election, but we run shit. Even when all of this was breaking, when he dropped the bomb on Iran and all, Charlie went to him and said, yo, Trump, what are you doing, bro? You know what Trump replied to him was? Leave it alone. That sounds like something somebody told him when he was trying to look into certain shit.
Hey, Soki, let me say that. Hey, Soki, I agree with you, bro. Like, hold on, let me say one quick thing to him. I agree with you, bro. Like, I don't fuck with Charlie Kirk as a person, some of the beliefs he has, but I agree with you on that, man. That is why he more than likely got unalived.
Hey, look, check this out, y'all. Like, and I know like shit be going on, but we're in the age of information today. And you got a lot of young motherfucking kids and grown-ups who are internet investigators, and these people do a good job at what they do. It's almost seeming like this whole Charlie Kirk thing wasn't even really a thing. It's something was staged and set up this way for it to look like this man got assassinated. And the more and more shit that comes out on a day-to-day basis of these people dissecting these fucking videos, and even me, I build weapons. The gun that they say that man got shot with, he should not have a head. Like, you shoot fucking moose and elephants with that type of gun. So the idea that bullet went in.
He just had powerful bone mass. His bone.
No, there's no fucking possible way. A motherfucking 30-06. Listen, a motherfucking 30-06 put a hole in steel. You know the steel target that you shoot at, a 30-06 will put a hole in it.
Yeah, that shit would have took his head off.
That man was a trained hitman. Let me say this real quick, man. Because, listen, I've been in the U.S. military, and you don't take a shot like that, one shot, without being trained. That man was a trained hitman. And let me tell you something, what I learned about this. This man was killed by his own party, the right-wing government. And yes, by your boy Israel. That is correct. The problem with, I wanted to say something back to what this brother Soki is saying. Because he sounded like he developing a house Negro syndrome for Donald Trump.
No, don't put no shit in my mouth.
Been with,
and I don't know where you get that nonsense from.
Listen, Donald Trump been with Israel since the time he shot down Qasem Soleimani in 2017. What reason did he even have to shoot that general down? He wasn't even doing nothing. Oh, you know, he's supposed to kill some Americans 10 years ago. Huh? And you just shoot the man out the sky? For no apparent reason? They almost started a regional war over that. This was in 2017, brother. I live and breathe politics. So when people come out there and make it seem like Donald Trump wasn't bought and paid for, he was bought and paid for the first time he got out there. He was bought and paid for now. So he's going to be bought and paid for. He's bought and paid for because he's not a politician. And there was no way that he was going to become president without it. He didn't even have that type of cash.
So what are you talking about then, Goop?
Hold on, brother. Let me finish. You talk for a while. Let me just get in.
Well, then you should learn to listen.
Hold on, brother. Let me just get in for a second. Be respectful. Because I didn't disrespect you while you was talking. Now, what I'm saying is, Charlie Kirk got killed by his own party. He didn't get killed by some Democrat. He didn't get killed by no left-wing nut. He got killed by his own party, the party of hitmen. This is what the right wing do. They have lots of hitmen on payroll, and they kill people at will. Charlie Kirk went against the wrong people, evidently, and Charlie Kirk got whacked. That has nothing to do with us at all. Okay. Right? Now, let's keep it clear. When you talk about why Charlie Kirk died, right, and what this means for the U.S., right, people are using his death as propaganda. Right? But people behind the scenes know that Israel was behind that death. But they're not going to say nothing. The same way they're not going to say nothing about what's going on in Gaza. Right? It's the same thing. So Donald Trump himself is basically complicit in all of this.
Okay, so you said that already. All right, you said that already. So let me respond to what you're saying, folks. First of all, you're talking about I'm some coon. Nigga, you don't know me.
I didn't know
you. Learn whatever the word you use.
You know, you trying to say
obviously
house nigga, all that. Hey, hold on, listen. Soki been in this. Soki ain't none of that, dog. You gotta listen to him, bro. He ain't said none of that. Go ahead.
Noble. You know what it is? This is the problem that I realize, right? People listen to listen. They don't listen to comprehend and understand what they're hearing. So this brother sit here talking about Trump been sold out. The first thing I said, if you listen. Nobody sits in that fucking office without Israel approval. Did you hear that, brother? I say it again.
I heard you when you said that.
Since Kennedy, be quiet, just listen. Since Kennedy, nobody sits in that fucking office without Israel approval. So yeah, that means everybody sells out. What the fuck are you talking about? Ain't nobody said Trump this, and that. I said what it was, Trump was not obedient. He wasn't controllable his first fucking term. So his second one, they made sure you understood who the fuck is in charge. Do you get it now, or are we still confused?
Are you asking the question now?
No. Do you get it now, or you still confused?
No, I don't get it.
I understand now.
I want to give real quick, y'all, because I want to give an example of what Soki was talking about, and it makes a lot of sense. If Soki was wrong, then we would have straightened Netanyahu out for him bombing Qatar. If Qatar got a touch me not alliance with the United States and somebody bombs the United States, we're supposed to have fucked them up. That's like touching us. So the fact that we haven't done that, oh, well, Netanyahu came to the White House 4 times last month. Yeah, fuck all that. At the end of the day, that's a clear example of what Soki's talking about, but y'all continue.
I disagree with that. First of all, when you say that presidents
You
are
didn't
paid,
agree with the
right?
fact of reality.
No, not what you're saying. Hold on. Not exactly what you're saying. I'm talking about the point that Soki made, because I didn't get a chance to respond to him. When you say that presidents are bought and paid for, I don't technically believe in it like that. There are people in Congress and the politicians are bought and paid for, which leads them to have to move in a certain way. This is the problem of our government, because you have so many political PACs, right? Especially like AIPAC, one of the biggest PACs that we have in the government, right? So with that being said, when you say all of them are bought and paid for, no, I don't agree with that. Donald Trump just wants money. He's a prostitute. He's out for money. That's why he had Elon Musk rolling out there on the White House lawn. That's why he over there taking planes from people. This is what he does. He's a prostitute. And his only end goal is to get paid. So, listen, whether you say that that's right or wrong, that's fine. But I don't think that Donald Trump really have a dog in the fight. If the money's coming his way, that's who he's supporting. That's how it works with Donald Trump.
That's kind of a good thing.
Can I do a submission?
But wait, hold on. Yeah, you can. But hold on. That's probably a good thing because that means we could buy him out if we get enough money, right?
Yeah, but people ain't got money like that. Come on, think about how much money you gonna have to buy people out to outbid, you know.
See,
ASAP,
I think you just like problems. You just like, you just like it to be a
let me
problem.
just ask you one question, Noble. Nagu, let me ask you something. Since you're saying it's a politician that's bought and sold, not the president have the right to veto certain things even if the politician passes it. So I'm going to ask you this one question. Since Kennedy, how many American presidents do you know of that stood against Israel or opposed what Israel was doing? Name me one since Kennedy. Now, if you can't name me one since Kennedy, next question I'm going to ask you, since Kennedy, Israel has done nothing fucked up in the world? And if they have, America, that's supposed to be the so-called police of democracy, why we never intervene or said anything if our president isn't bought out? So I'm going to ask you again. I don't care about your senators. I don't care about your House of Reps. You name me one president, since you said they weren't bought or whatever, that went against Israel. Now, if you can't tell me one, then it's safe for me to assume that they've been compromised. Because there's no way you're going to tell me since Kennedy, Israel has done nothing wrong in the fucking world. They've done plenty. This is why the fucking world hates America, because we keep standing next to these cocksuckers as they violate shit. So I'm going to ask you again, since you said, American presidents ain't bought out, they're not sold out. Name me one of them that stood up against Israel.
So hold on. Was Eisenhower before or after Kennedy?
Are you serious, my brother? You just asked if Eisenhower came before or after Kennedy. All right, this is why we can't even have this conversation. That's why we cannot have this conversation.
That is a crazy question, bro.
All right, well, with that,
I land.
All right.
So here's my point. I would say Jimmy Carter.
Wait, hold on, no more.
Hold on, let me answer the question.
How you going?
I'm gonna say Jimmy Carter. That's number one. I believe Jimmy Carter wasn't bought and paid for. We know Obama took a little AIPAC money, but I wouldn't say Obama was bought and paid for. But Obama
was definitely bought and paid for.
Man, Obama was
paid for.
AIPAC, but I will give you your boy Jimmy
This
Carter.
is the same guy who asked about Eisenhower. Yo, come on, brother.
No, don't try to do that, because now you're trying to find a way to get out of the conversation. That's really that's like one of them unintelligent maneuvers you're trying to pull right now.
No, that was an unintelligent question you asked when you asked about Eisenhower. I thought I was speaking with someone that actually knows American history.
Before or after, because Eisenhower was okay. Maybe
it's okay to help people out, and
I asked the question. I didn't say it was.
No, there's nothing wrong with asking a question, but when you're up here speaking and challenging as if you know American history, see, in order to understand, hold on a second, brother, in order to understand the American government,
like, why are you going?
I know, but hear me out. Hear what I'm saying to you. In order for you to understand the American government, you must have to understand the American history. There's nothing new that they're doing right now. It's all regurgitated, just coming in a different time in a different envelope. It's the same shit.
All right, so people get a little foggy-headed, but I gave you Jimmy Carter, so that was my.
Okay, so even Jimmy Carter, perfect. Jimmy Carter was one of the presidents that tried to stand up, but do you see what happened when Jimmy Carter's presidency? He's known.
All right, but you asked for one, and I gave you one.
I'm gonna finish, and I'm gonna show you when he challenged Israel. Remember the Iranian hostage shit? That happened because he was fucking siding with the Muslim world. This is why they did it under his watch. You understand what? They did that under Jimmy Carter's watch. The
Thing about it. And I have to say, I look at London where you have a terrible mayor, terrible mayor. And it's been so changed. Now they want to go to Sharia law. But you're in a different country. You can't do that. Both the immigration and their suicidal energy ideas will be the death of Western Europe if something is not done immediately. This cannot be sustained. What makes the world so beautiful is that each country is unique. But to stay this way, every sovereign nation must have the right to control their own borders. You have the right to control your borders, as we do now, and to limit the sheer numbers of migrants entering their countries and paid for by the people. of that nation that were there and that built that particular nation at the time. They put their blood, sweat, tears, money into that country, and now they're being ruined. Proud nations must be allowed to protect their communities and prevent their societies from being overwhelmed by people they have never seen before, with different customs, religions, with different everything. Where migrants have violated laws, lodged false asylum claims, or claimed refugee status for illegitimate reasons, they should, in many cases, be immediately sent home. And while we will always have a big heart for places and people that are struggling and truly compassionate, answers will be given. We have to solve the problem, and we have to solve it in their countries, not create new problems in our countries. And we are very helpful to a lot of countries that are just not able to send their people anymore. They used to send them to us in caravans of 25, 30,000 people each. These massive caravans of people pouring into our country, totally unchecked and unvetted. But not anymore. According to the Council of Europe in 2024, almost 50% of inmates in German prisons were foreign nationals or migrants. In Austria, the number was 53% of the people in prisons were from places that weren't from where they are now. In Greece, the number was 54%, and in Switzerland, beautiful Switzerland, 72% of the people in prisons are from outside of Switzerland. When your prisons are filled with so-called asylum seekers who repaid kindness, and that's what they did, they repaid kindness with crime. It's time to end the failed experiment of open borders. You have to end it now. See, I can tell you, I'm really good at this stuff. Your countries are going to hell. In America, we've taken bold action to swiftly shut down uncontrolled migration. Once we started detaining and deporting everyone who crossed the border and removing illegal aliens from the United States, they simply stopped coming. They're not coming anymore. We're getting a lot of credit, but they're not coming anymore. This was a humanitarian act for all involved, because on the trips up, thousands of people a week were dying. Women were being raped. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. Raped, horribly beaten, raped. On the trip up, the journey up, it was a long walk. It was a long, arduous journey, indeed. And it was also a historic victory against human trafficking throughout the region. What we did was a victory, and we saved so many lives of people that wouldn't make the journey. That journey was loaded up with death. Loaded up with death. Dead bodies all along the roads of jungles to get up. They go through jungles, they go through areas so hot you couldn't breathe. They were dying of suffocation, areas so hot that you couldn't breathe. Dead bodies all over. By them not coming, we're saving tremendous numbers of lives. My people have done a fantastic job in doing what they did, and the American public agrees with it. I mean, I was very proud to see this morning have the highest poll numbers I've ever had. Part of it is because of what we've done on the border. I guess the other part is what we've done in the economy. Joe Biden's policies empowered murderous gangs, human smugglers, child traffickers, drug cartels, and prisoners from all over the world. The previous administration also lost nearly 300,000 children. Think of that. They lost more than 300,000 children, little children, who were trafficked into the United States on the Biden watch, many of whom have been raped, exploited, and abused, and sold. Sold. Nobody talks about that. The fake news doesn't write about it. With many others, young children who are missing or dead. And we found a lot of these children, and we're sending them back, and we've been sending them back to their parents. They said, nobody knows who they are. They said, where do you come from? And they'll give us a country, and we'll find out, and we'll figure it out, and we'll bring them back to their homes. And the mother and father rush to the door, and their tears in their eyes. They can't believe that they're seeing their son or daughter, their little son or daughter again. We've done almost 30,000 of them so far. Any system that results in the mass trafficking of children is inherently evil. Yet that is exactly what the globalist migration agenda has done, and it's what it's all about. In America, those days, as you know, are over. The Trump administration is working, and we are continuing to work to track down the villains that are causing this problem, and also, as I said, to get back the 30,000 we've already returned. Now I think we're going to have another. We're going to find a lot. You're not going to find all of them. 300, more than 300,000. They're lost or they're dead. They're lost or they're dead because of the animals that did this. To protect our citizens, I've also designated multiple savage drug cartels as far as and you see this, and you see it happening right before your eyes. Let's put it this way: people don't like taking big loads of drugs in boats anymore. There aren't too many boats that are traveling on the seas by Venezuela. They tend not to want to travel very quickly anymore. And we've virtually stopped drugs coming into our country by sea. We call them the water drugs. They kill hundreds of thousands of people. I've also designated multiple savage drug cartels as far as foreign terrorist organizations, along with two bloodthirsty transnational gangs, probably the worst gangs anywhere in the world, MS-13 and Tren de Aragua. Tren de Aragua is from Venezuela, by the way. Such organizations torture, maim, mutilate, and murder with impunity. They're the enemies of all humanity. For this reason, we've recently begun using the supreme power of the United States military to destroy Venezuela terrorists and trafficking networks led by Nicolas Maduro. To every terrorist thug smuggling poisonous drugs into the United States of America, please be warned that we will blow you out of existence. That's what we're doing. We have no choice. Can't let it happen. They're destroying. I believe we lost 300,000 people last year to drugs, 300,000. Fentanyl and other drugs. Each boat that we sink carries drugs that would kill more than 25,000 Americans. We will not let that happen. Energy is another area where the United States is now thriving like never before. We're getting rid of the falsely named renewables. By the way, they're a joke. They don't work. They're too expensive. They're not strong enough to fire up the plants that you need to make your country great. The wind doesn't blow. Those big windmills are so pathetic and so bad, so expensive to operate. And they have to be rebuilt all the time. They start to rust and rot. Most expensive energy ever conceived, and it's actually energy. You're supposed to make money with energy, not lose money. You lose money, the governments have to subsidize. You can't put them out without massive subsidies. And most of them were built in China, and I give China a lot of credit. They build them, but they very few wind farms. So why is it that they build them and they send them all over the world, but they barely use them? You know what they use? Coal. They use gas. They use almost anything, but they don't like wind. But they sure as hell like selling the windmills. Europe, on the other hand, has a long way to go, with many countries being on the brink of destruction because of the green energy agenda. And I give a lot of credit to Germany. Germany was being led down a very sick path, both on immigration, by the way, and on energy. They were going green, and they were going bankrupt. And the new leadership came in, and they went back to where they were, with fossil fuel and with nuclear, which is good. It's now safe, and you can do it properly. But they went back to where they were, and they opened up a lot of different plants, energy producing plants, and they're doing well. I give Germany a lot of credit for that. They've said this is a disaster, what's happening. They were going all green. All green is all bankrupt. That's what it represents. And it's not politically correct. I'll be very badly criticized for saying it, but I'm here to tell the truth. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. I'm in New York City. I'm feeling a lot safer. Crime, we're getting crime down. And by the way, speaking of crime, Washington, D.C. was the crime capital of America Now it's after 12 days, it's a totally safe city. Everyone's going out to dinner. They're going out to restaurants. Your wife can walk down the middle of the street with or without you. Nothing's going to happen. My people have done a fantastic job. And yes, I called in the National Guard, and the National Guard took care of business. And they weren't politically correct, but they took care of business. We got 1,700 career criminals out, brought them back to where they came from, the countries where they came from, or put them in jails. Washington, D.C. is now a totally safe city again, and I welcome you to come. In fact, we'll have dinner together at a local restaurant, and we'll be able to walk. We don't have to go by an armor-plated vehicle. We'll walk right over there from the White House. They've given up their powerful edge, a lot of the countries that we're talking about in oil and gas, such as essentially closing the great North Sea oil. Oh, the North Sea, I know it so well. Aberdeen was the oil capital of Europe, and there's tremendous oil that hasn't been found in the North Sea. Tremendous oil. And I was with the Prime Minister I respect and like a lot, and I said, you're sitting with the greatest asset. They essentially closed it by making it so highly taxed that no developer, no oil company can go there. They have tremendous oil left, and more importantly, they have tremendous oil that hasn't even been found yet. And what a tremendous asset for the United Kingdom. And I hope the Prime Minister is listening, because I told it to him 3 days in a row. That's all he heard. North Sea, because I want to see them do well. I want to stop seeing them ruining that beautiful Scottish and English countryside with windmills and massive solar panels that go 7 miles by 7 miles, taking away farmland. But we're not letting this happen in America. In 1982, the executive director of the United Nations Environmental Program predicted that by the year 2000, climate change would cause a global catastrophe. He said that it will be irreversible, as any nuclear holocaust would be. This is what they said at the United Nations. What happened? Here we are. Another UN official stated in 1989 that within a decade, entire nations could be wiped off the map by global warming. Not happening. You know, it used to be global cooling. If you look back years ago in the 1920s and the 1930s, they said global cooling will kill the world. We have to do something. Then they said global warming will kill the world, but then it started getting cooler, so now they could just call it climate change, because that way they can't miss. It's climate change, because if it goes higher or lower, whatever the hell happens, there's climate change. It's the greatest con job ever perpetrated on the world, in my opinion. Climate change, no matter what happens, you're involved in that. No more global warming, no more global cooling. All of these predictions made by the United Nations and many others, often for bad reasons, were wrong. They were made by stupid people that have cost their countries fortunes and given those same countries no chance for success. If you don't get away from this green scam, your country is going to fail. And I'm really good at predicting things, you know? They actually said during the campaign, they had a hat, the best-selling hat. Trump was right about everything. And I don't say that in a braggadocious way, but it's true. I've been right about everything. And I'm telling you that if you don't get away from the green energy scam, your country is going to fail. And if you don't stop people that you've never seen before, that you have nothing in common with, your country is going to fail. I'm the president of the United States, but I worry about Europe. I love Europe. I love the people of Europe. And I hate to see it being devastated by energy and immigration. This double-tailed monster destroys everything in its wake, and they cannot let that happen any longer. You're doing it because you want to be nice. You want to be politically correct, and you're destroying your heritage. They must take control strongly and immediately of the unmitigated immigration disaster and the fake energy catastrophe before it's too late. The carbon footprint is a hoax made up by people with evil intentions, and they're heading down a path of total destruction. You know, the carbon footprint was a big, big thing few years ago, I remember hearing about the carbon footprint, and then President Obama would get into Air Force One, a massive Boeing 747, and not a new one, an old one with old engines that spew everything into the atmosphere. He'd talk about the carbon footprint, we must do so. Then he'd get in and he'd fly from Washington to Hawaii to play a round of golf. And then he'd get back onto that big, beautiful plane and he'd fly back and he'd talk about, again, global warming and the carbon footprint. It's a con job. At extreme cost and expense, Europe reduced its own carbon footprint by 37%. Think of that. Congratulations, Europe. Great job. You cost yourself a lot of jobs, a lot of factories closed, but you reduced the carbon footprint by 37%. However, for all of that sacrifice and much more, it's been totally wiped out and then some by a global increase of 54%. Much of it coming from China and other countries that are thriving around China, which now produces more CO2 than all the other developed nations in the world. So all of these countries are working so hard on the carbon footprint, which is nonsense, by the way. It's nonsense.
That's right.
Everything should stop. No more cows. We don't want cows anymore. I guess they want to kill all the cows. They want to do things that are just unbelievable. And you have it too. But you know, we have a border, strong, and we have a shape.
They eat the dogs.
And that shape doesn't just go straight up. That shape is amorphous when it comes to the atmosphere. And if we had the most clean air, and I think we do, we have very clean air. We have the cleanest air we've had in many, many years. But the problem is that other countries, like China, which has air that's a little bit rough, it blows. And no matter what you're doing down here, the air up here tends to get very dirty because it comes in from other countries where their air isn't so clean. And the environmentalists refuse to acknowledge that. Same thing with garbage. In Asia, they dump much of their garbage right into the ocean. And over about a 1 week and 2 week journey, it flows right past Los Angeles. You've seen it. Massive amounts of garbage, almost too much to do anything about, flowing past Los Angeles, past San Francisco. And then somebody will get in trouble because he dropped a cigarette on the beach. The whole thing is crazy. The primary effect of these brutal green energy policies has not been to help the environment, but to redistribute manufacturing and industrial activity from developed countries that follow the insane rules that are put down to polluting countries that break the rules and are making a fortune. They're making a fortune. European electricity bills are now 4 to 5 times more expensive than those in China, and 2 to 3 times higher than the United States. And our bills are coming way down. You probably see that our gasoline prices are way down. You know, we have an expression, drill.
Nós reduzimos os custos de energia porque nós faremos, como a expressão, vamos fazer tudo isso, reduzir os custos de energia, e os custos diminuíram nos Estados Unidos.
Common to see one.
Por exemplo, se você olhar
Electric costs
nos países em
approximately
faturas de energia,
100 heat-related deaths
não
related. So
mas nós nos Estados Unidos conseguimos usar eles e evitar aumento da temperatura.
Like it's talking, like it's still say Trump, but someone.
pretending to stop
Okay, I'm typing it in then.
Tudo isso
All right.
hoax. The intent
há muito.
of asking such industrialized nation.
Esse agenda mundialista não tem nenhum sentido.
There it is.
2030. Russia was given an old standard that was easy to meet, 1990 standard. But for the United States, we're supposed to pay like $1 trillion. And I said, this is another scam. The Fact is, the United States has been taken advantage of by the world for many, many years, but not any longer, as you probably noticed. I unleashed massive energy production and signed historic executive orders to hunt for oil. But we don't have to do much hunting because we have the most oil of any nation anywhere, oil and gas in the world. And if you add coal, we have the most of any nation in the world. Clean, I call it clean, beautiful coal. You can do things today with coal that you couldn't have done 10 years ago, 15 years. So I have a little standing order in the White House. Never use the word coal, only use the words clean, beautiful coal. Sounds much better, doesn't it? But we stand ready to provide any country with abundant, affordable energy supplies if you need them, when most of you do. We're proudly exporting energy all over the world. We're now the largest exporter. In the United States, we want trade and robust commerce with all nations, everybody. We want to help nations. We're going to help nations. But it must also be fair and reciprocal. The challenge with trade is much the same with climate. The countries that followed the rules, all their factories have been plundered. It's really sad to watch. They've been broken. They've been broken by countries that broke the rules. That's why the United States is now applying tariffs to other countries, and much as these tariffs were for many years applied to us, uncontrollably applied to us. We've used tariffs as a defense mechanism under the Trump administration, including my first term, where hundreds of billions of dollars in tariffs were taken in. And by the way, we had the lowest inflation, and now we have very low inflation. The only thing different is that we have hundreds of billions of dollars flowing into our country. But this is how we will ensure that the system works for everyone and is sustainable into the future. We're also using tariffs to defend our sovereignty and security throughout the world, including against nations that have taken advantage of former U.S. administrations for decades, including the most corrupt, incompetent administration in history, the sleepy Joe Biden administration. Brazil now faces major tariffs in response to its unprecedented efforts to interfere in the rights and freedoms of our American citizens and others, with censorship, repression, weaponization, judicial corruption, and targeting of political critics in the United States. I have a little problem saying this because I must tell you, I was walking in and the leader of Brazil was walking out. We saw him and I saw him, he saw me, and we embraced. And then I'm saying, can you believe I'm going to be saying this in just 2 minutes? But we actually agreed that we would meet next week. We didn't have much time to talk, like about 20 seconds. They were in retrospect, I'm glad I waited because this thing didn't work out too well. But we did talk, we had a good talk, and we agreed to meet next week, if that's of interest. But he seemed like a very nice man, actually. He liked me, I liked him. But if you, and I only do business with people I like. When I don't like them, I don't like them. But we had, at least for about 39 seconds, we had excellent chemistry. It's a good sign. But also in the past, Brazil, can you believe this, unfairly tariffed our nation, but now because of our tariffs, we are hitting them back, and we're hitting them back very hard. As president, I will always defend our national sovereignty and the rights of American citizens. So I'm very sorry to say this, that Brazil is doing poorly and will continue to do poorly. They can only do well when they're working with us. Without us, they will fail, just as others have failed. It's true. Next year, the United States will celebrate the 250th anniversary of our glorious independence, a testament to enduring power and American freedom and spirit. We will also be proudly hosting the 2026 FIFA World Cup, and shortly thereafter, the 2028 Olympics, which is going to be very exciting. I hope you all come. I hope that countless people from all over the globe will take part of these will be great celebrations of liberty and human achievement, and that together we all can rejoice in the miracles of history that began in July 4th. 1776, when we founded the light to all nations, and it's something really that is an amazing thing came out of that date. It's called the United States of America. In honor of this momentous anniversary, I hope that all countries who find inspiration in our example will join us in renewing our commitment, values, and those values really that we hold so dear together. Let us defend free speech and free expression. Let us protect religious liberty, including for the most persecuted religion on the planet today. It's called Christianity. And let us safeguard our sovereignty and cherish qualities that have made each of our nations so special, incredible, and extraordinary. In closing, I just want to repeat that immigration and the high cost of so-called green renewable energy is destroying a large part of the free world and a large part of our planet. Countries that cherish freedom are fading fast because of their policies on these two subjects. You need strong borders and traditional energy sources if you are going to be great again. Whether you have come from north or south, east or west, near or far, every leader in this beautiful hall today represents a rich culture, a noble history, and a proud heritage that makes each nation majestic and unique, unlike anything else in human history or any other place on the face of the earth. From London to Lima, from Rome to Athens, from Paris to Seoul, from Cairo to Tokyo and Amsterdam to right here in New York City, we stand on the shoulders of the leaders and legends, generals and giants, heroes and titans who won and built our beloved nations, all of our nations, with their own courage, strength, spirit, and skill. Our ancestors climbed mountains, conquered oceans, crossed deserts, and trekked over wide open plains. They charged into thunderous battles, plunged into grave dangers, and they were soldiers and farmers and workers and warriors and explorers and patriots. They built towns into cities, tribes into kingdoms, ideas into industries, and small islands into mighty empires. You're a part of all of that. They were champions for their people who never gave up and who never, ever gave in. Their values defined our national identities. Their visions forged our magnificent destiny. Everybody in this room is a part of it in your own way. Each of us inherits the deeds and the myths, the triumphs, the legacies of our own heroes and founders who so bravely showed us the way. Our ancestors gave everything for homelands that they defended with pride, with sweat, with blood, with life, and with death. Now the righteous task of protecting the nations that they built belongs to each and every one of us. So together let us uphold our sacred duty to our people and to our citizens. Let us protect their borders, ensure their safety, preserve their cultures, treasure, and traditions, and fight for their precious dreams and their cherished freedoms. And in friendship and really a beautiful vision, let us all work together to build a bright, beautiful planet, a planet that we all share, a planet of peace and a world that is richer, better, and more beautiful than ever before. That can happen. It will happen. It will happen, and I hope it can happen and start right now, right at this moment. We'll turn it around. We're going to make our countries better, safer, more beautiful. We're going to take care of our people. Thank you very much. It's been an honor. God bless the nations of the world. Thank you very much. Bye.
That's right, that's right, that's right.
On behalf of the Assembly, I wish to thank the President of the United States.
All right, he's gone.
That was powerful, though. That was a good speech.
That was awesome. Not great.
It was not amazing, yeah.
Well, the beginning was
millions and millions and millions and millions.
no, like the indictments against the UN throughout, and I don't really understand his obsession with Biden. I mean, it's over. Like, move on. He's not running anymore. He's hardly walking. Like, who cares? Like, no one cares.
Who you got that? They talk about Trump for like 10 years straight.
My favorite part was the part in Portuguese.
I think he's pissed off.
Brandon was a big part of Trump's campaign.
I think he's pissed off about the UN because they decided to move their headquarters out of New York and into Kenya.
No. You're kind of wrong on that. You're kind of right. You're kind of wrong. They're not moving the headquarters for the UN to Kenya. They're moving like a women's branch to Kenya. They're like women's rights or some shit. A part of the branches to Kenya, but the UN's staying right there in New York.
I'd like to say that I thought it was brilliant, perfect. I mean, he's not going to magically become John Kennedy overnight, but that was Trump at an 11. That was Trump plus content and performance. I give him full props. I don't like everything he says.
I'm wrong. It literally says, in a landmark decision that could redefine Africa's role in global diplomacy, the United Nations has announced that UN Women, UNICEF, and, let me finish, and the United Nations Populations Fund will relocate their global headquarters from New York City to Nairobi, Kenya.
You're proving my point.
Let me finish. Damn.
I already read that before. You proved my point.
Yeah. Be a little slower, please.
Sentence. So he also mentioned the misuse of funds that United Nations was using and appropriating, and I just said that the relocation of the United Nations fund will be in Kenya. So that's why
I just told you that.
All right, you got it, Doug.
I just told you that the UN itself is going to
keep reading. Sure. Keep reading the article and learning about it, and then telling us. That's
what I'm saying, though. I've already read that like weeks ago. And that's not new news.
Yeah,
like, she thinks they're moving the whole United Nations to Kenya, which they're not. They're moving certain departments to Kenya, but not the whole overall United Nations. That's what she's not comprehending what she's reading.
Yeah, and Daniel, the reason why he keeps bringing up Biden is because Biden represents the pinnacle of progressivism, and he knows that, and he knows that the United Nations also embraces that. And so it's a dig at both, not so much a dig at Biden as a dig at the progressive leftist elements in the UN.
Obama.
Look, that was your guy, and he screwed everything up, and I'm calling him a loser.
Well, I still hear it very much. Yeah, I understand. I mean, so he could have said, like, I don't know, woke, progressive, Islamist, whatever he wants to say, but to call, like, I think he's kind of minimizing it when he says Biden, because, that's a person. Sleepy Joe. It's like, I don't know, it was a bit...
You're right. It's not graceful. It's not presidential.
I thought it was great.
Yes, you are correct. But we can't change Trump. Sure, if he had dialed it back 5% in 2020, he would have won. But he can't contain himself. No, so what I say is that for a Trump, that's as good as you're going to ever get.
No, I'm not talking about the style. I'm talking about, like, the timing. Like, it's in the past. Like, yes, he used to do all this Sleepy Joe bullshit, but, like, the campaign is over. But it's not running anymore. Like, who are you fighting? It's that's a bit weird. But that's not the point of the speech. I guess it was more about how America is great and how they are powerful, and how all this the environmentalists kind of infected countries, all the way that he kind of phrased it, and the UN. That the UN is basically a useless body.
I don't think he went that far. No. I don't believe he denounced the UN as a useless body. That's not my takeaway.
He said the UN is good for an elevator that stops halfway and a teleporter that is not working. He said that all of these negotiations to stop wars, the UN didn't even give him a call or to try to help. He said, what else did he say about the UN? That they would paying illegal immigrants to go into the United States, and that they're basically the problem of illegal immigration into Europe as well. He was maybe useless, was even good. He was actually saying that they are harmful. Would you believe that, he said, that they're actually doing this, the opposite of what they're supposed to do? And what they're good for is a faulty elevator and a teleprompter that is not good.
Okay. All right. I'm not going to argue. You're not wrong. Obviously. It's not what I heard. But I acknowledge that if you say he said it.
That is what he said. I just heard that as well.
Okay. I guess I focused on other things. Listen, everyone heard the speech through the prism of their.
Well, he did literally say those words.
I'm pretty sure you joined after the speech started. You probably.
No, I heard the whole thing, brother. I swear to God, I heard the whole thing. But it's okay. I've been wrong before, and I may be wrong now. But I still believe that was Trump at a 10. And I guess so. I accept what Daniel said. He denounced the UN. I disagree with him. I think it has a certain usefulness, but there's no doubt, for example, I really don't want to make it about my politics. I stand by the speech. I think he has nothing to be embarrassed for. Except I acknowledge, it's Trump at a 10. He's not. I wish he hadn't said certain things. I wish he could be less of a bully. It's bullying at this point.
What did you say, Trump at a 10?
I put a link in the chat that is a clip.
Just want to say, what did you say? Trump at a 10? What did you say?
I said, this is Trump.
Well, I wanted to say that I put a link in the chat.
Trump.
Hold on, I just want to understand this sentence because I don't know it. What
I'm saying is this. Okay, let me get my concept out here. He is not.
Just the meaning of what is Trump at a 10. What is
meaning for what he is capable of. He is capable of, this is the best he can do. In other words, he's not going to magically become John Kennedy, or he's not going to magically become,
I didn't mean Trump. I meant the sentence. Trump at his 10, meaning Trump is his best, right? That's what you meant?
Right. Got it. Exactly what I meant. Thank you.
I put the link in the chat that is a clip of him saying the only thing he got was a broken escalator and a broken teleprompter.
I accept it, yes. It's ringing a bell now. I really did hear the whole thing.
Yeah, and I think this discussion about what is or is not presidential, I think the Democrats blew that away a long time ago. So, any critiques of him...
What do you refer to? Because I give them credit. They have a very inclusive message. They're less... I have to acknowledge that Trump is more divisive. I mean, even if I like Trump, he is more divisive. He says things. He called Rosie O'Donnell a dog. Or a pig. I mean, what did the Democrats do that blew that credibility away?
Yeah, starting with, in my recent memory, Hillary Clinton, when she was running, calling conservatives deplorables, then telling people that people who conservative voters need to be put in re-education camps. The fact that Biden continually attacked conservatives. The fact that progressives continually call conservatives bad people, that they're not moral, etc., etc. The fact that for 4 years during Biden, they attacked Trump personally, that they legally went after him, when the precedent is once you leave office, they leave that person alone. I mean, in so many ways, they attacked him personally. I remember specifically Biden saying, we're going to bring the country together, and then he proceeded for 4 years to attack conservative voters themselves. Never mind what they did to Trump personally. So no, this whole thing of the Trump breaking precedents, you can go back and look, and it is clearly the progressives, the Democrats, and Biden himself who did that. So no.
Okay. All right. Listen, you make a good case. I'll go further.
Thank you. And you don't.
And I will,
you're not without merit either.
Okay. Thank you. I will go back further and say this: that for a long time now, in every administration, the attacks on presidents have, basically, hey, Nixon deserved it, but post Nixon, in every presidential administration, I believe that the attacks on presidents have gotten more and more vicious from opposition. That's in every one. The attacks on Clinton, the whole Monica Lewinsky thing wouldn't have happened 50 years ago. When Eisenhower and Roosevelt were fucking their secretaries. Nobody would have done that. So for whatever reason, in every administration, the attacks on the president. And I thought that the things that the Republicans said about Obama, it's rough. The guy won. Now he's president, but they never gave him a break, in my opinion. So I'll say you are correct that the attacks on Trump are the worst, but I'll also say that every administration has gotten increasingly vicious attacks on presidents. Thank you.
Yeah, and I'll just say too, it's ironic because Democrats, the whole thing about they all got blowjobs from their secretaries, that's true. But it was the Democrats who attacked their own in the case of Gary Hart. And they were the ones who started that whole ideology of, well, you have to be, if you're a politician, you have to be morally pure. But the thing about
was it the Democrats, or was he just that sloppy? I don't blame the Democrats for that. I say that's to me, People Magazine or whoever it was. He was that sloppy. Well, he could have gotten away with it.
Yeah.
You don't take around on a boat, dude.
Gary Hart or Clinton?
I'm talking about Gary Hart. That's what you were talking about.
Yeah, and you could be right, but what people forget, it's not that Clinton got the blowjob. Nobody cares, and who would want to get a blowjob from Hillary at that point? I mean, it makes me shudder. But that joking aside, it's the fact that it came out, and he lied directly to not only the American public, but then lied about it under oath. And it wasn't until it came out, well, gee, Monica.
They asked him if he had sex, right?
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. You know what? I don't agree that most of America is shocked by this. You seem to be more shocked by it than many people in my circle.
No, really.
Every guy understands what he did.
No, and I understand it too. It's not that. And I'll say it specifically. It's not that he got the blowjob. It's the fact that there were already lawsuits out against him for his, quote, sexual improprieties, and yet he still continued the behavior. That is political suicide, and he was smarter than that. If you're in a trial for stealing cars, you don't steal cars while you're out on bail. It's that simple. It's like the guy who was, it's hilarious, the guy who was charged for driving without a license, appearing in a Zoom call in his car using his phone, driving. Literally, the judge looked at him and said, yeah, you're guilty. That's the problem I had with Clinton. Everybody knew that people in power got blowjobs. That was not for me anyway.
Oh my God, you're a room killer, Alan.
I just want to point out that Trump speaks at the same speed as I do.
Hello? Hello?
Hello, David. What's going on, brother?
Can you talk to me? It's David. No, what's he doing? She listen to my live song too last week.
Is it quiet in here? Is the room dying? Looks like the room is dying.
I blame Trump. No, I was reading something. I saw like a news, but I wanted to fact check it first, so I'm still fact checking it.
No, just say it with reckless abandon. And then stick to your guns when it's proven incorrect.
No, it's an accusation of the French consulate in East Jerusalem for working with PFLP and Hamas, and I'm looking for official statement from the French government to see if there's any mention of an investigation. So I'm still checking if it's true or not.
Well, the last thing I heard is that France is like heavily pro-Palestinian, or that could have been BS too.
No, the French government is the one that was leading this, what we're seeing right now at the New York conference for the two-state solution and to acknowledging Palestine as a state. This is them and the Saudis, Macron and the MBS. So this is why I'm extra careful to see if this news that is actually accusing them of collaboration is real or politically motivated, even though it's on my side.
At what point does working with quote-unquote turn into collaboration?
The examples that are given here, that they were helping basically Hamas family members of Musa Abu Marzouk and Nour Atala to basically evacuate through the French evacuation programs. And one second. That they initiated some kind of a Doha meeting between officials of Hamas, Marzouk and Khaled Mashal. I'm not sure what it's about. They created some kind of a program in the consulate with the PFLP, which is a terrorist organization. Something called the Al Bustan Center. And there are like other points, so basically all kinds of ties of the French consulate in East Jerusalem with different factions of terrorist organizations. Which also makes sense, because anyone that does anything there is tied to some kind of a terrorist organization. If it's PFLP, if it's Palestinian Islamic Jihad, if it's Hamas, if it's PFP, whatever, there are like so many. But we should not talk about it, because they're a sovereign state now.
They were celebrating and congratulating each other. But Leonardo still had a strange fear in his mind. He saw that the enemy was not trying to extinguish his burning ships. He was letting them burn so that smoke spreads all around and everyone's attention is diverted. But before anyone could understand anything, all the ships were engulfed in flames. Leonardo immediately understood
the center also, this center that was created also was a support system for families of so-called martyrs. Basically, this is part of Hamas's reward for terrorism under European taxpayer money.
The army and told them that they had been trapped in this trap of the enemies. He immediately changed the target of his cannon, but by then it was too late. The enemy ships had reached inside the port, and they too had started firing their cannons. The cannon fire started breaking the walls of the fort. Everything started getting destroyed. Although Leonardo's cannons were also hitting far and right on target, the enemy fleet was very large. It was difficult for Leonardo alone to stop it. The enemy's cannons were firing continuously and very fast. When Leonardo looked through the telescope, he was shocked. Actually, the cannons that the enemy was using were the same design that he had made earlier to protect his soldiers. Now the question was, how did the enemy get this idea? And who made these weapons for them? All the soldiers were ready to take up the front inside
this is the UN discussion about the two-state solution, because Trump at least didn't even mention it in a word.
Leonardo's soldiers were fighting bravely, but the enemy had more powerful weapons. There were some machines that were not only firing bullets, but also spitting fire. Leonardo immediately recognized them. These were the same machines whose idea he had once given to a king. As soon as the machine reached their hiding place, Leonardo immediately ordered, "Put all the wine barrels behind."
You guys are gaining quite the audience. You have more audience members than speakers.
As soon as the deadly machine fired shells to break the door, the barrels full of wine burst, and there was a terrible explosion, due to which the enemy machine was completely destroyed. When Leonardo came out and looked, the fight had stopped.
Did you guys see the video last night of Macron? He's trying to get to the UN World Headquarters, which is hard to get to, but he is blocked off by some sort of convoy, and he realizes it's Trump. So he calls Trump and he's like, "Hey, I'm trying to get to the UN. Can you let us in?" And Trump's like, "Walk." And there's a video of Macron walking. He has to get with all these people around him. That's hilarious. Macron's such a beta.
His wife is a trans woman.
Wife something, that's for sure.
Even though 100 kilowatts.
Because what's all that about?
The power tank won't be enough to power the administration.
I think the first thing Trump judges when he's deciding your character is how hot your wife is.
As the closest American.
There is no one.
In that case, I'm in dipshit.
Yeah, you're fucked, Daniel. You'll never be friends with Trump.
It's 2025.
But he shits on Macron all the time. And then when you hear him talk about, people like Keir Starmer, he's like, Keir Starmer's a lucky guy. He's got a beautiful wife.
So he hates Macron because of his wife?
It doesn't help. It doesn't help, that's for sure.
Yeah, he doesn't see him as a man, Macron. He kinda... Yeah.
He's not hot wife. It doesn't mean Trump likes you, but he'll respect you. He's like,
exactly.
Shit, bro.
This is what I mean. He kind of treats him like a child, and having your teacher as your wife doesn't help your image as a child.
That's true.
Well, look, the fact that she's older than Macron, and by a significant amount, and the fact I forget the details how old they were when they met.
Macron was like 17 or something.
Yeah. I mean, clearly there's a power dynamic there that I think not only Trump, but a lot of us males can relate to as being beta.
Yet he was elected the president of the French.
Well, this is true too. Was it him or was it his wife? I mean, I can say that giving credit to Macron himself, but at the same time, we can also recognize that, was it him or was it the wife pulling the strings?
I think that not changing the subject, but it's still a point of Macron, but a different point. Macron got rich by working at Rothschild's as an investment banker. There's something about the fact that he's such a fucking loser, especially when it comes to the Middle East, and he, you know, the way he got his start was working at Rothschild's. Something about that just pisses me off so much. I guess I hate people that use Jewish institutions but support terrorism. I hope Macron gets, kicked out of... I don't understand. This is the other thing. How the fuck do European politics work? They have a prime minister and a president, but Macron's the highest position, right, as a prime minister, but there's also a president that stepped down. Am I wrong?
The prime minister deals with international affairs, the president deals with domestic affairs.
No, it's different in every country. It's not like a European thing. Some have the president is the head of state, some have prime minister as the head of state. And some have a king, for example, UK have a king and they still have a prime minister. Also in Israel, we have a president with more like a symbolic role, and we have a prime minister with actually the executive role. But I think Macron is the executive. Executive.
But he's the highest position, right? He's the one who decides who's president.
Yes.
I think, right? Yeah.
He is the decision maker. Elle fait la décision.
Yeah, his wife is the decision maker. Let's be
His quote-unquote wife. She's the one that slapped him around.
Yeah,
well, it's kind of like it's currently until it's settled in code. We should refer to they them.
Yes, we haven't seen her private chat.
Macron should be he should become a persona non grata, not just in Israel but in America. They should allow him to come to America. They should be like, sorry man, no cucks allowed, and then kick him out.
Well, Michael the Cat, the last election in France, I mean, it was Le Pen's party that got the most votes, but they had Macron's party had they gathered together, for different sects. And
yeah, you know how it works, right?
Yeah,
it's like
coalitions.
Yeah, it's like the right gets 35% of the vote, the left gets 30% of the vote or something like that, and Macron's party is in the middle with 20% of the vote, so both sides have to be incentivized. Essentially, Macron gets to choose, right? His party gets to choose who gets power, and in the most recent election, the left, actually, they had fewer votes than the right, and then the moderates got 20%, so they, did a coalition with the left, but it already broke up because it's if you need 50% or whatever, right? If he did a coalition with the right, probably would have had 60%, coalition with the left, you're at 51%, you know what I mean? Just to avoid doing a coalition with the right, Macron made a really weak coalition with the left. Macron is such a fucking bitch, I hate him.
Well, yeah, the left has been, seems to me at least 30 years ago, the left took over in France, and it's been fucked ever since. I mean, one of the biggest things is, the bac, as it's called in France, the baccalaureate, was a very difficult test. And if you passed, it meant you were elevated to certain jobs within France, and if you did...
Wait, when do you take this?
You take it at the end of high school. Yeah, that test. Okay. Yeah, they've weakened it completely now. It's not the same as it was. Because they're trying, because it's unfair to people. And to me, that is culturally is a huge change. Because that was one of the things, for all their arrogance and everything else, which we all have grown to know and love about the French, you couldn't argue that their educational system wasn't strict and demanding. Mm-hmm. And now that's going away.
On behalf of myself and my nation, I want to always most heartfelt feelings.
that makes sense.
United Nations General Assembly to the presence of all humanity.
I guess they just like in general. Oh, sorry.
This podium, which represents the collective conscience of humanity.
Is this the UN?
Mr. Young, who has
Yeah, it's kind of soft, Daniel. The volume level.
Dude, I always think about how these people are just down the street from me right now. I'm not too far from that building.
At the outset of my speech,
Go up and say hello. I'm sure they'd be happy to welcome you in.
I'm pissed on the UN building.
Mahmoud Abbas, at a time when Palestine is being recognized and
I've also smoked a joint right outside their fence.
So have some of the finest hobos and bums.
I'm glad you include me among them.
Also for our Palestinian brothers and sisters whose voices are being silenced.
Which country is speaking?
Countries who announced that they recognize the state of Palestine and
Sounds like Isa.
recognize the state of Palestine as soon as possible. Esteemed President, distinguished members, the United Nations Charter was signed in San Francisco 80 years ago and it entered into force on October the 24th, 1945. I would like to recall here again the first words of the first article of the UN Charter. Quote, the purpose of the United Nations is to maintain international peace and security, unquote. As we celebrate the 80th anniversary of the UN in this fall, grave events are unfolding in many parts of the world that cast a shadow over the very first words of the UN Charter's opening article. Particularly in Gaza, right before our very eyes, genocide has been going on for over 700 days now. As we gather here, as we speak now,
What country is this?
massacring civilians in Gaza.
Daniel, what country is speaking?
Ah, you listening? Oh, I forgot. It's Turkey. I forgot that I'm.
Of course, it's Turkey.
The number
Erdogan.
who are still trapped under the rubble is.
Oh, he's speaking, and this is a translator.
Yes.
Thousands of those who died were.
I don't speak Turkish.
For the last 23 months.
Cheers.
Have been murdered.
I've decided I like Turkish people more than Armenians.
Every hour. These are not just figures, dear friends. All of these, each one of these is a person, a human being, innocent people. People are now being killed not with weapons, but with the weapon of starvation. In the 21st century, under the gaze of the
There's just so much shit that comes from Erdogan's mouth. I hope he dies.
Out of those 428, 146 were children, and this number is including everything. Now, I will show you a photo, which is a picture from daily life in Gaza.
Oh.
The first photo, as you see, these are people. These are women with these cups that they are holding in their hands, cups and buckets. Just feel your conscience and answer the following question. Can we possibly have a reasonable reason for this brutality in 2025? This shameful picture in Gaza has been unfolding and is being repeated every day for 23 months now. And there are 2.5 million Gazans who live in 365 square kilometers. And every day what happens is they are being dragged from one place to another. The healthcare infrastructure of Gaza is completely collapsed. Doctors have been killed, or they have disappeared.
They just say the same thing over and over again. It's just like, it's just crazy.
It's not possible. Surgery is not possible.
How many times are they going to say journalists died?
Now, dear friends, now is Tayyip Erdogan with a heavy heart, with my heart bleeding here. I'm telling you.
Hopefully he has a heart attack. He's bleeding for a heart attack.
Just 2 or 3 years old, without hands, arms, or legs.
That's because they have genetic effects. They're all inbred. Come on, Erdogan. You should know this.
He knows this.
He knows, yeah. See, it's perfect. In Palestine, they all marry their first cousins so they can blame it on the Jews.
They actually show now a picture. They show a picture now of one of those sick children.
Somebody with muscular dystrophy.
Yes.
Yes.
They're like, this person is starving. Look at them. They're all bones.
Medication. Can we possibly have calm and peace? We all are parents. We have children.
It's disgusting because Israel can't respond. Today's Rosh Hashanah, so everybody's synagogue.
In America or in Europe.
No, Danny Danon is there at the UN.
He's there?
Yeah.
Hurts a child's hand.
Yeah, that's crazy. They forced him to
Yeah, I
not
don't
go
know
to
why.
synagogue.
Arms and legs.
That's actually fucked up. They probably expected him not to come.
Anesthesia.
He's gonna be like, I stand here by myself because everybody else is in temple, but you fuckers wanted this today.
To recognize, to make it a celebration of the Palestinian narrative.
Bloodshed within the
It's just so retarded how they do it. Like,
all of this is happening before our very eyes.
Our very eyes. They're all with the same text.
Gaza.
yeah, they just say the same thing over and over again.
Live.
People are so sick of it, by the way. Nobody talks about this shit anymore, I feel like.
It's like it's boring.
Deliberately killed 250 journalists.
Ain't a journalist again.
Working in
Ooh, 250 journalists. Wow. I wonder how many of them were Hamas. That doesn't matter to Erdogan, though.
No.
They have closed all the entrance into Gaza, but they still have not been able to cover up the genocide. I wholeheartedly support it.
Remember how he got mad because they called the Armenian genocide a genocide?
The ongoing genocide in Palestinian territories. And I would like to once again come.
They get to say it a million times, but the second you talk about a real genocide in Turkey against Armenians, they're like, we're not talking to Israel anymore.
And you know what's funny? You know there's this, what's her face? Anna Kapakondokoka. What happened?
She's Armenian. She's literally Armenian.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw her saying some stupid shit today, and I made a tweet about it. I was like, sorry if anybody else is Armenian here, by the way. Just, this is a full disclosure. I'm going to say something anti-Armenian. But when I saw her, I was like, wow, all Armenia, like, Anna Kasparian is, like, the perfect example of why Armenians are retarded. She is on a show called The Young Turks with a Turkish person as an Armenian.
Exactly.
She's on a show glorifying the people that killed all her people in Turkey, and all she talks about on the show is how much she hates Israel. It's just so retarded. Dude, what? And the worst part is, like, all Armenian people are like that.
19th.
That's the worst part.
19th Amendment.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't make women different from men. Not my fault.
What happened is there's now like a meeting between Trump and Guterres. I don't know why they switched there. Maybe it's more interesting than. But it stopped. Okay, something happened. Receiver. From a different source.
being occupied step by step, and innocent civilians are being massacred through execution. Moreover, Israel is not limiting itself to Gaza and the West Bank. By launching attacks on Syria, Iran, Yemen, and Lebanon, Israel is also threatening regional peace.
I'll be right back.
Most recently, an Israeli attack took place against a delegation meeting in Qatar.
Oh, the poor terrorist leaders. No, that's so sad.
Look, and I never heard about. Thank God that Erdogan is kind of reporting the news.
Netanyahu is not obviously interested in forging peace or releasing the hostages. Not only Israel's neighbors, but all countries in the Middle East are subject to the Israeli government's reckless threats. And we must realize the following. Due to the increasing aggression of Israel in Europe and the West in general, the values that emerged after the Second World War have been eroded.
The what?
The most fundamental human rights, such as freedom of expression, freedom of the press, freedom of assembly and protest, women's rights, children's rights, democracy, equality, and justice, have been shelled away. At this point, we all have to see the following truth, my dear friends. The Israeli government, driven by an obsession with the promised lands, is openly threatening regional peace and the shared values of humanity. Three celestial religions. Jerusalem hosts all three celestial religions and a common inherited holy place. Al-Quds is holy for all three religions. This madness disturbs conscientious Jews. It fuels anti-Semitism around the world. We cannot continue with this madness anymore. We have to have ceasefire in Gaza as soon as possible. Attacks should stop. Humanitarian aid should be able to enter with no obstacles. The genocide team should be held accountable vis-à-vis international law. And God willing, this will definitely happen. Vis-à-vis the barbarity taking place in Gaza, everyone who is keeping silent is accomplice to this barbarity. From here, I would like to call on all the heads of state and government. Today is the day. Today is the day to stand firm alongside the oppressed Palestinians and alongside humanity. While your peoples back home are reacting to the barbarity in Gaza, do show the courage to take action here. Fulfill your humanitarian duty toward Gaza, where children are raising children. On this occasion, I would like to say the following. There are peoples all around the world who are taken to the streets. Unarmed activists and volunteers from different countries of the world, academicians, students, journalists, everyone, all the defenders of Palestine. I would like to say to them, thank you so much. And clear bows and favorable winds for their actions. Esteemed delegation members, for 13 years, I have spoken to you from this platform about the oppression and conflict in our neighbor, Syria. Just as I raise my voice today for the oppressed people of Gaza, likely for 13 years, I have also drawn attention to the cries of the Syrians. Here I became their voice and breath as well. The persecution that caused the death of 1 million people and that forced millions more to flee their homeland has, thankfully, become a thing of the past with the December 8th revolution. Our Syrian brothers and sisters opened the doors to a new period as of December the 8th. I believe that the people of Syria who fought against a bloodthirsty regime will also be able to carry the victory they achieved at great cost to its rightful place, God willing. We'll support with all our means the vision of a one and unified Syria with no forms of terrorism, especially ISIS, being present. A free Syria where security is established is what we want. As stability takes root in Syria, the winners for sure will be all the neighboring countries, our entire region, along with Syria. And the brotherly countries in the Gulf. I would like to thank them for their contributions for Syria to recuperate. All the regional and international actors who share the same principles with us, God willing, we will continue with our cooperation with all those actors in the same manner. Esteemed friends, we hope that the nuclear issue with our neighbor Iran will be resolved through diplomacy as soon as possible. It should not be forgotten that our region cannot tolerate yet another crisis. Meanwhile, the stability, security, and prosperity of our neighbor Iraq are extremely important for the well-being of our region. In this regard, we attach great importance to strategic moves.
You do realize that Lonzo and many other people in this room are more extreme than Stephen Miller. Stephen Miller, that's right, ladies and gentlemen. It's not Stephen Miller that's the problem in America. It's you that's the problem in America, because you're even more extremist than Stephen Miller. Just at the opposite end of the spectrum.
Through direct talks, we facilitated the exchange of several prisoners and corpses. We worked to identify the modalities.
He's fully cooked. He's a Haitian lamb. He's a Jew-hating, anti-Semitic, pubic hair-facing schmuck. He's a low IQ loser. I've been recording this loser for years and putting him on YouTube, and nobody cares what he's got to say because he's a low IQ moron. One is 155 times 1,000, Lonzo. That's a quick diagnostic. 155 times 1,000. Go ahead, Lonzo. Let's hear it.
We have encouraged the parties from the very beginning to establish peace between Azerbaijan and Armenia. We are pleased that steps were taken on August 8th, steps that will enable the establishment of lasting peace between the two countries. I would like to once again congratulate the President of Azerbaijan, Ilham Aliyev, the Prime Minister of Armenia, Nikol Pashinyan, and the American President Donald Trump, who contributed to this process, and I would like to congratulate. On this occasion, I would also like to state that the normalization process between our country and Armenia is progressing as planned. Within the scope of the Ankara process, which is another of our mediation activities, we continue our efforts to resolve the conflict between Somalia and Ethiopia. I hope that the parties will successfully conclude this genuine initiative as soon as possible. Distinguished delegation members, we have been implementing the Montreux Convention, which guarantees security in the Black Sea. And we have been implementing this convention impartially and to the letter for exactly 89 years now. We want to see the Aegean Sea and the Eastern Mediterranean as a basin of stability and prosperity where the legitimate interests of all parties involved are respected. We are ready for constructive cooperation on all issues, particularly on energy and the environment, and we expect the same approach from our neighbors. On this occasion, I would like to particularly underline that projects which exclude Turkey and the Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus in the Eastern Mediterranean, such projects which exclude us will not be successful. Turkey has rights and authority in the western part of the island of Cyprus, while the Turkish Cypriots have legitimate rights in the area surrounding the island. An Eastern Mediterranean Conference, which we have proposed before, would contribute to finding common ground.
Just be someone who was an advocate
Cyprus issue has been tried many times before, but due to the rigid style of the Greek Cypriot site, no resolution has been found. We cannot possibly
a similar video at the borders, but it was a bunch of black kids raiding a jewelry shop.
Are two separate states and two separate peoples on the island.
One, I realized off topic, one more brief point of saltiness about this California guy. If he had just come out as a Democrat, being like a full-throated running as a Bitcoiner on Twitter, I feel like he would have gotten a lot of love and support, and like that would have been great.
Yeah.
And now it's completely
I reiterate the call I made
this land
the
or
last
like this is not good enough or whatever. And so literally,
Let me read. I call on the
this guy got
international
kneecapped in
community
terms of the
to
strength of his
recognize the
announcement, so
Turkish
yesterday at
Republic
least.
of Northern Cyprus and to establish
So Dennis
political
Rose
and economic relations with it. Esteemed President, distinguished members, in the coming period, we desire a new beginning and vision in Turkey-European Union relations. This should not be a vision that just says
Impressions on his pre-announcement tweet.
Mm-hmm.
Even though he actually hurt the
Yeah,
policy
but the
objective.
quality of those impressions, I mean, sure, he could look at it that way, but the fucking comments betray any benefit he thinks he got, you know?
But he's not, that's really shameless. He's not playing the credibility game. He's playing the influencer game.
Yeah. Yeah, true.
Once you realize that,
talking about, and this guy Calderon comes from a horrible family of politicians. He didn't need Dennis Porter to ruin him.
Yeah. Well, you're also like this. This is the point. Is we're all talking about Dennis Porter right now. That's what Dennis wants, and he got it. Yeah.
And penis daughter.
Penis daughter. Denny Portal.
Ohano, I think it has worked. I think from David Bailey coming out, the plagiarism, like, I think the last year or so has, like, moved the, like, I don't know, sort of the tide and, like, the balance of, like, the average Bitcoiner who pays attention to this now knows that he's a clown and knows that he's cringe. And I think they're still following, but I think that it's shifted pretty significantly. Before, a lot more people were okay with him and just quietly saying it, and now they're openly being able to say this fucking buffoon. What a buffoon.
He has 250,000 Twitter followers still.
I
People
understand,
donate significant amounts of money to his retard organization.
I understand that, like, there's idiots like Gary Cardone and others, but I think, like, he's hurt his, like, again, I think for him it doesn't matter, but I think in terms of, like, how we view it, I think we recognize that a bunch of people that matter think that this guy's a buffoon.
This guy Calderon, I'm sorry. Is somebody talking? No, I was just saying, this guy Calderon, like, comes from a family of Democrats who've been assemblymen, and that family has been in politics for years in California, and they're horrible.
Yep. So, big nothing burger.
Everyone
It's
says
so
I
funny.
should.
It's like, I think the vibe is, whenever he pulls a stunt like this, maybe not so much for a lot of people in this room, but I get the vibe on Twitter is like, they're skeptical but hopeful that he's actually got something real and legitimate with some meat on the bones when he's like, maybe this time Penis Dorter is gonna announce something that's, you know, actually interesting. And then it's just another letdown.
Never. Yeah, never.
On him in the comments.
I mean, like, people just don't like reality is the problem. Like, you know, there are people working on serious policy stuff.
Yeah.
Right? Like, when we announce things, they are real. It's just real big things don't happen often, and people want the dopamine hit, and it's just to get around that.
The constant search for dopamine is ruining our society.
Just like is he sort of like, you know how like back in like, I don't know, 18, 19, probably 17, like there was like so much willy woo, like we knew it was bullshit, but it was still fun to like read. Is this like the politics version of it? Like the like the
kind of, but it's not even fun. You know, it's like,
no, at least the Willy Woo shit, like it made us feel like we were gonna be really rich.
Reading Willy Woo is like reading like yeah, like it's like having a lottery ticket where you're like, ooh, when I win the Powerball. Yeah, exactly.
But I feel like, but I do think there's something to what Zach just said, and I think it reminds me of like reading Willy Woo in like 18 and 19, or like reading his newsletter. I think it's like scratching some sort of itch.
I think it does, yeah. Like Zach is saying, he's filling the gaps between Zach and Matt and David and all them's like real policy shit.
Yeah. And the thing is, but to a lot of people, this is what's probably really frustrating to someone like Zach and these guys is there are people that can't tell the difference. You know, it's like Zach is like in the UFC and fucking, you know, Dennis is over there doing WWF. And they're like, yeah, man, I think he can beat him. It's like, no, John Jones is gonna kill anybody in the WWE. Dog, I will say, like, personally, I feel like there was a time in a window, like, between, like, then and David Bailey coming out against, where I literally felt some sort of responsibility for Dennis Porter. And I literally, I can't even explain it, you know?
Disclaim it.
Huh?
Disclaim it now.
I go on fucking Twitter once a year just to make the disclaimer reminder. But I no longer will, because everybody knows that.
Yeah.
It's an apology. I send an apology. Hey guys, I'm so sorry. This is my fault.
You gotta say, I think that Dennis Porter is a force of nature, and that he would have done this regardless of you or not.
Yeah,
like,
of course.
He is.
Of course. I was just his first part of the affinities thing.
The best thing I think the Streisand effect is my dominant lens by which to view most internet stuff, which is like
100%.
Just don't talk about it. Don't put any focus on it. Don't put any attention on it. Because the more attention you give something on the internet, the larger it grows.
Yeah, internet currency is definitely different, for sure.
And if you let people know that you definitely don't want something to happen on the internet has a way of like making that thing happen, just to see like what will happen, essentially. So the best thing is just to be like, who? Dennis who? Who's that? Yeah.
Speaking of Dennis Porter, can we talk about drive chains?
No.
It's been a while.
Rejected.
Are you mixing up your fucking Bitcoin retards?
Oh, am I? Oh, who was the...
You're thinking of Henry.
I'm thinking of Henry. I'm thinking of Henry. Take it back. Yes.
I think you're gonna let that hang for a while. Also, what are you guys doing? Who? Alright. The guy just kicked out of the room. The guy just kicked out of the room that's at the bottom of the stage is the guy that records us and puts it on YouTube and then blasts it out.
Wait, is that a thing? Are we getting... Is there a YouTube channel now?
Yeah. No, I mean...
Also,
Can you guys either mod me or deal with the fucking chat also?
Oh man, we got him again. We got him again.
No, that guy left already that was spamming the chat, but...
No, it was him probably, because I just kicked him out of the room. Is it John Kitover?
No, it's a guy trying to sell a course or something. I reported it earlier, but I couldn't remember.
What's that?
John says, you know what's extremely funny is my mom just texted me and asked me what was happening at 3 p.m. But she didn't. She doesn't know how to like use Twitter or like she could. So she didn't even know it was like that. You know, she didn't see even what it was in response to. She just saw my tweet pop up.
I figured.
I don't even need anonymous.
There was a very important announcement.
I'm literally recording the room without an anonymous.
Yeah, it's very
never
important.
spend the time to look who in the audience it is.
I know. I think I know the answer, but is your mom talking about the fucking Dennis Porter thing?
It was me replying to John's tweet.
This is a club of like the dumbest people in the world.
Say if that got to your mom somehow,
Who make fun of people
she
for being
somehow is
stupid,
in the
but
sphere
never
of
say anything
influence of Dennis
intelligent.
Porter, then I definitely get.
Sometimes you hear like, you know, it's more intelligent than the other rooms, but oh wow.
Sandwich between that.
Baby maker. Bitcoin is a really good room to actually run. It's because it, well, let's see here. Oh, so they got this phone clip. Review content. I created this content. I own the IP and copyright. This is a podcast. No third party. Take screenshot. I've become that robot guy from Grandma's Boy. Taking screenshot. Okay, this phone has been decommissioned. Candidate Congressman John Kitover, Second Lieutenant, Army National Guard, Politics.
What was the announcement, guys? Hello?
Oh, Dennis name dropped his friend that's running for California governor.
There's a guy who might be running for governor of California who likes Bitcoin.
Zach, how does it feel that Dennis is breaking more news than you guys? The entirety of the Bitcoin Policy Institute.
Yeah, I'm just in awe. One day I'll get on his level.
Instead of being at awe, I think you should start taking some fucking notes.
I actually mentioned this. Like I am doing executive media training, which is I think going to be helpful with news appearances, and I do think like we can do a better job communicating, but we're not going to do clickbait.
You're going through executive media training?
Yep.
That's awesome. I'm happy. That's really good. I think that will actually help you guys a lot. Stuff like that's always good. Fuck.
It is amazing to me. I just don't know how many times people are going to fall for this, but I guess just indefinitely.
What is executive media training exactly? Is it just like development, like techniques? Like what is it?
It teaches you how to speak, not like Zach, if that makes sense, and communicate ideas in a way that they can actually be heard.
In my case, it's a lot about thinking about different audiences. Like, I mean, I do pretty well on like Bitcoin podcasts and panels, but like I need to do better with mainstream news appearances and like talking to normies.
Yeah, because you're really detailed. Like, because that's just the way of training. You got to be detailed. Whereas if you're talking to media and fucking online peasants, you got to be able to say things in a way that penetrates very cleanly.
Yeah, although I'm not really interested, I think, in online peasants like that. I know how to reach that market. All you have to do is say nice things about the Bitcoin price. It's the like non-Bitcoin normies that I would like to reach.
For what?
For converting them
into
Bitcoiners.
Maybe not convert them into like Bitcoiners, but I think if we're gonna get something like the Bitcoin Act passed, we need to move the Overton window on Bitcoin being a serious thing that people don't think is fake money.
I think you might be pissing against the wind there.
Just focus on the money. Like, focus on the what you're already doing. Politicians and shit.
I know, but in order to move certain blocks of politicians, we need their constituents to think differently. I mean, we're also going to work on politicians, but I think that, like, I am maybe might be narcissist, but I think I'm relatively uniquely situated where, like, I can talk to the sort of center-left New York Times crowd that is a pretty important constituency to win over to get things like the Bitcoin X passed.
Right.
If you can win over some of that mind share, it makes it okay for moderate Democrats to vote for Bitcoin stuff, which is something we're going to need.
Do you think Saylor just had that innately, or do you think he went through executive media training?
Saylor does not have that innately. Saylor is a fucking MIT rocket scientist.
So you think he got the storytelling part of his thing through training?
Yeah, I've had dinner with Saylor, like, almost one on four, and he definitely turns something else on when he's in front of the camera. The guy is one of the smartest people I've met, and fastest thinking, let's say.
Yeah, I think that's a strong suit. He's a great storyteller. And then he'll mix some facts in between. A lot of people just try to go facts, and won't tell the story. Work on your storytelling, Zach.
That's definitely part of it. Welcome back. I'm Peter St. Ellis. This is a weekly roundup of my daily videos on the economy and freedom, where I cut through the BS and lay out what the gaslighting clowns pulled out of their hats this week and what is coming next.
JC right here.
For the first time in Trump's new term, inflation surged last month, hitting 5% annualized, up from just 1.9% over his first 6 months. Sadly for legacy media, it was not tariffs, it was federal spending, with the deficit up 20% over last year. Last week, the now infamous Bureau of Labor Statistics announced inflation. CPI surged 0.4% in August, which is annualized 5% and double the previous month. Now, just last week, I talked about the BLS revising away 1 million fake Biden jobs, as in they're not very good at math. And independent price aggregator Truflation says inflation in August was 2% on the button, no clouds in sight. Still, the BLS remains the standard for everything from markets to policy, so let's break it down. Now, media was desperate to pin the CPI bump on tariffs, but in fact, just the previous day, wholesale PPI inflation came in at an actual decline, as in tariffs are not passing on. So what is driving CPI? The biggest were energy and food, which are both domestically produced, and above all, housing, which is not imported, but is measured on a goofy 9 to 12 month lag, meaning housing is still running on Joe Biden's fumes. And considering housing is 36% of CPI, that's a lot of fumes. In fact, since Trump took office, the BLS says housing inflation shelter is up 2%, when actual housing prices, according to the Fed itself, fell 3%. In fact, take out the BLS's goofy housing costs and the entire jump last month disappears. Meanwhile, CPI will tariff.
It's that guy John Kitover who sits here and fucking records us. That motherfucker.
Jimmy, my paperwork sent off. We in the end zone, baby.
They said 24 to 48 hours of processing, bro.
Soon we'll be able to see how down we are in our broker accounts rather than calculating it on the phone.
It's perfect. All of it's perfect. At least it's in the brokerage. And now, I can prove that it's there right now.
Aye.
What
a shit show.
Aye.
127.
Let's fucking go. We're backing up the fucking truck.
I thought you were just saying your truck was out of gas.
I didn't say I was gonna fucking back it up for Naka. I try and move the truck in Naka's direction and it just fucking stalls out.
Good morning, Heather. Please let
But we might find a new truck. Me and Jimmy debating dumping all the other treasury companies and going all in on Naka.
City goes to 105, British.
Yeah, I fucking hate the Jews, you know that? Whoever said that?
I don't have enough of this shit. I should have bought in my regular accounts.
Enough with Naka?
Was he in the Jew pipe? You got it for 50 cents a share.
He's in the Jew pipe. He's into the banking stocks, which is where we should be, because they're outperforming Bitcoin right now.
How next? I should have been a
fucking Citigroup. They're murking Bitcoin.
Oh, look at us. We should have been a fiat cuck.
But we are fiat. We are. We're buying Naka.
nothing else.
Exactly.
Stop it. You guys are making me want to buy more.
What do you buy more of? Naco or Citigroup?
You know, if you were there
Holy shit, boss.
and they have a sticker, which you need, you might call that convenience. But you might also call that taxation.
Like you guys are just using me as an exit liquidity.
$1 million contract
We can't exit. What are you talking about? How can we use you as exit liquidity?
to the private
We
equity
cannot
firm.
exit.
It's coming up though.
Well, I'm exit liquidity too, bro.
Artificial.
We were the original exit. We were the exit liquidity at the point of entry. That's what we were.
Emissions
That is very, very true.
waste.
Yo, can
Yeah,
you
if you were
imagine
there,
if this shit
they have a sticker, which
doesn't
you
come
might
up
call
and
that
David
convenience.
Bailey's like sold his whole
But
fucking
you
company
might
to
also
shit?
call that taxation because the multi-million contracts in the private equity firm is artificial and never should have happened. Emissions is a scam.
I'm starting to feel bad for that guy.
You feel bad for a billionaire?
He ain't no billionaire right now. I'll say that much.
He's a billionaire.
What billionaire?
You know, if you were there,
He's a
and
billionaire?
that sticker, which you need, you might call
Yeah, he's
it
a billionaire.
convenience.
What, right now?
Yep.
Wait, right now, David Bailey is a billionaire.
Not everybody fucking liquidated all their hillbilly Bitcoin, Brandon.
I'm not saying he did, but I don't know. How,
Yeah,
how
I'm not sure
stacked
if he's a
it is.
billionaire. That would have meant that when Nako was at like $25, that he had like $30 billion or something. That doesn't make any.
Shipped and a delivery confirmation.
Talking about net worth or liquid?
Yeah, I'm talking about net worth.
Relevant, same shit.
No, it's not the same.
Billionaire though?
David Bailey just posted. In typical mid-cap pipe transactions, 50 to 70% of shares are liquidated within the first 2 weeks. I've been monitoring pipe progress every morning, and I think this jives. Almost through it.
Pipe progress? The fuck does that mean? We don't have any shares to liquidate.
Oh,
Yeah, I know.
we don't.
Other people do. The bigger investors, they got it before us.
No fucking way. I thought we were all in the same pipe. They got different pipes?
We're in the
white pipe is real?
We're in the SPV, which is like, you know, the gay pipe. We're in the gay pipe.
British, you only have to have 8,700 Bitcoin to be worth $1 billion.
Huh.
Only 8,700.
Yeah, I only have like 7,500.
Now, I was saying earlier, I believe David is already a billionaire, and they were debating me on that, and I'm like, no.
Not anymore, he's not.
Yeah,
No,
what's the
it's
market cap
awesome.
on Nako right now? Naka is worth.
Hey, Brandon, I'm
400.
Yeah, so how much of it does he own?
too large to do that. Is it possible?
I don't know. Good question. We have to look up his ownership share.
Sorry for the trouble.
I believe Bailey,
I don't think he's a billionaire.
with all of his Bitcoin holdings and all the money he's already made seeding all of these other treasuries, he's already there.
I bet you that David has. Let me think. predates me. And he's a retard who's very aggressive.
He has a couple thousand Bitcoin, bro.
I bet you like 3,000 Bitcoin seems right. Yeah, that seems right. So that's like 300 mil, give or take.
Are you
And
talking
then-
about Robert?
No, David. And then, what's his ownership in, like, how much does he have at UTXO? UTXO performed very well. So maybe he's got 100 mil over there. And then maybe he's got like 200 mil. So like 600. That seems about right. So when Naka was at its peak, he was probably a billionaire. But right now, he's at like 600. That seems right.
He's at 600 now. At Naka's peak, he would have been worth like 30 billion.
Loser show.
He might have been on paper.
Bitcoin retards. Never
Like, I
reads the
think
book.
more than half of his net worth comes from his personal Bitcoin holdings.
How does it change my life for me? You're not keeping up with this ultra high net worth thing.
So let's say he has 200 million in Naka right now.
Oh my god.
At $30 with Naka, that would have been like 6 billion or something.
Bro, how am I down 80% on Naka? What the hell's going on? What the hell is this?
I see it at 127. When did you buy?
Bro, I bought the last dip like 3 weeks ago.
Oh, yeah, you gotta buy the recent dips.
Holy crap. Dude, I went on vacation and didn't look at the price, come back, it's down 80%. That's crazy. It's almost at the pike price, right?
It went to it.
Holy crap.
The lower pipe, if I remember correctly.
The second offer? Or the 110 or whatever.
Well, the $5 pipe niggas are in shambles.
They are. They really are.
Yo, when someone tells me that they're going back to a 5 a.m. club because there's too much to get done, I don't like that.
Wait, what do you mean?
David Bailey said, I'm going back on 5 a.m. club. Too much to get done. Steamroller cometh.
Yeah, you should already be on that.
Yeah, I don't like that shit. Why are you not? Stocks just dropped from 15 to fucking, $1.20. Like, why the fuck you already not waking up at 4 a.m. in the morning?
You should be sleeping on the factory floor like Elon Musk.
There's no factory, bro. There's just schemes. He needs to be scheming at 4 a.m.
He needs to be sleeping on the fucking scheming floor. You know what I mean? Get all the other schemers around you and sleep on the floor between.
Gotta partner up with Mario from Twitter Spaces and get the scam.
Yo, get the KOs on this, man. What the hell's going on? We're not gonna start pumping again.
You know what we're all gonna learn? We're all gonna learn what I have to keep relearning, which is what the fuck was this? Fuck this guy.
It would be possible.
You know, Dave likes to open up rooms where anybody can get on because he's a fucking communist.
We're gonna learn
What are we gonna have to
what I am relearning, which is step number 1, you buy Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Step number 2, you shut the fuck up.
Dear Jimmy, not anybody can anymore. It's easy to switch.
It was one of Issa's friends. She was bringing in weirdos into this room.
Now, Jimmy, it makes sense though, because to Dave, anyone can get on a Bitcoin stage. So you just gotta let the randos up.
Issa's friends are low key dumb as hell.
Those are Issa's friends?
I don't know, but every time I meet one of Issa's friends, I'm like, this motherfucker is dumb.
Why you talking about British like that?
British is my friend.
Do,
He's not Issa's friend.
Damn right.
a conference video call?
I knew British before any of you.
That's true.
He is Issa's friend. I wouldn't have met Issa if it wasn't for British.
I blessed your life.
Issa's cool. It's just some of the people she hangs out with are retarded.
I'm glad.
So don't call the Jews retarded, Paul. That's not nice.
I'm glad British tried. He stopped trying to be Andrew Tate.
Oh, before the meeting, yeah.
Back then, he was a lost soul trying to talk to these hoes.
That was when Kevin Samuel was really popular.
Before the death, Kevin.
Yeah, he got cut down in his prime.
Yeah.
They cut my boy down in his prime.
We just was trying to school these hoes. Gotta leave them alone.
Didn't he die hooking up with some young girl?
Went out like a boss. Man, the funniest shit he ever said was when he told that one girl, he was like, what do you think you are? She's like, I. And he's like, you look like a middle linebacker. You look like you could hit the A gap like a motherfucker.
A-gap was the most ridiculous shit I've ever heard.
It's fun. It's so funny.
Life.
So funny.
Because I know the A-gap. I know that's between the center and the guard.
What was crazy about Kevin Samuel was the women that called up knew what he was going to do. Like, because he did the same thing for every single woman. But they were all like in their head, like, I'm special. He won't do that to me.
It's like,
and then he just
make me do this. Please,
right.
Make me do this.
And then he just did it to every woman, just boom, 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 knocking them all down.
This is the most intriguing sword in history.
You like you hit the A gap like a motherfucker. It's the like a motherfucker for me. Like he's like, the reason it's so funny is because he's thinking like from a coach's perspective about her potential.
Who's gonna recruit this hoe?
Like, young man, come here. You look like you could play middle linebacker. That's how he's treating her. That shit is hilarious. My man was cut down in his prime.
I mean, but it is, you know, it is like you giving all this advice, nigga. Take care of your own heart, man. Like, take care of yourself, bro. You know what I mean? How you guys piping some chick, bro? Piping some youngin, bro.
It was the Jews. It was the Jews. They got him.
None of the Jews, bro. Sort of, he himself was a bum. You know what I mean? At the end of the day.
Went outside, man. Went outside.
How did he actually die? What was the actual...
Nigga, he just had a heart attack.
He died from sex.
Too much Viagra?
He's probably taking pills because he's a fucking bum. He's trying to...
Take a Cialis.
Like, that's like like, you're a loser. You know what I mean? It was all nonsense.
Well, listen, when you're a 50-something-year-old man and you're obsessed with pussy, that's loser shit right there. You know?
Facts.
It's loserish to be obsessed with pussy when you're 35. So it's really loserish when you're 50-something. Like, when you're 50-something, bro, I was talking with Jason Williams about this, and we both were agreeing about this, which is like, when you see an old guy in, like, a fucking Ferrari or a Corvette or something, and he's like, look at me. It's like, that shit is always sad and pathetic. When you're at that age, you're like 60, you should be, like, surveilling your land. You know what I mean? You should be, like, just, like, have 1,000 acres and just surveil that shit. That's what you should be doing at age 60. But at age, like, if you want to be obsessed with pussy at 25, sure, go ahead. No, nothing wrong with that. But, like, at 55, nah, you're a loser. It just shows that you missed out on something, like, in youth, you know, and you're making up for it.
Yeah, just looked up his age. This dude died at 53. He probably had like some congenital, issue with his heart or something.
For sure.
Like at 55, you should be treating your daughter like a princess while you are causing irreparable damage to your son because he feels like he's not good enough. That's what you should be doing at 50.
Yep.
Yo, he had hypertension, high blood pressure, eating too much salt.
He was eating.
Hey, salt's good for you.
He was hitting them snacks like a motherfucker.
You ever see one time he had Nicki Minaj on there? And even he had her, Nicki Minaj. She was like on Kevin Samuel's show. And he even had her fucked up. He was like, rate yourself, you can't say a 7. She was like, I don't even know a 6. It's like, you're Nicki Minaj. You can say a 9. It's okay. No one's gonna be mad at you.
How you suck up to Nicki Minaj, bro?
Yo, I would hit. You wouldn't hit?
Absolutely not.
Harley, you ain't never had no chocolate. Relax.
You just said chocolate. It's the implants, bro. You see the implants? You wildin', bro. The legs don't match, Hoddle.
I think black girls are attractive. It just never happened, Like, naturally never happened. Except for at the strip club. That is kind of my preference at the strip club. For whatever reason. It just seems to work out.
That's fucked up, bro.
That was fucked up, Harley.
What's fucked up about that?
That's all black girls are good for. Fuck the pole.
What? No.
God damn.
Damn, so you just walk up to a black stripper, what do you whisper? Would you like to take care of you?
No, they always find me. They always find me. They're always really aggressive, and I'm always like, all right, sure. You know how the strippers get. They're aggressive as hell.
I don't know how the strippers get. I have no idea how the strippers get.
Well, I'll take you out there. You'll find out.
No, I don't want to find out how the strippers get.
The strippers all see you as a mark, So they'll like walk you over to the ATM and be like, come on, oh, don't you want a private dance, all that shit.
You rub your lower back as you...
And you're like, only if you're black.
No, not only. I'm just saying it has happened to work out that way on several occasions.
Well, shout outs to Hoddle for supporting little DeQuavius, man. Giving his mom some money now.
Yo, listen, this is kind of wild. Because before Antonio was supporting him, Hoddle was supporting him. That's fucking wild. Hoddle was first, and then Antonio took his place.
I have to say that the strip club does suck. I don't understand it. Like, I end up going, sometimes when people want to go, but it's kind of just pointless.
It's the opposite of fun.
The only problem
That's really not that fun.
The only problem with the strip club is the smell of strip club. The smell of strip club.
It does smell bad, yeah.
Listen, it's bad male odor, because these motherfuckers don't get laid. They like not good hygiene motherfuckers. Or they've been drinking all night, sweating all night. Number 2, the smell of really bad herbal essences, whatever that cheap shit is, plus cigarettes, plus male body odor, plus alcohol. That concoction does anything but get my penis hard. Anything but that. But otherwise, yeah, fine, whatever, this shit looks cool. On my bachelor party, I subverted my bachelor party because I was like the only one sober. basically by the time we got to the strip club, nobody realized that I wasn't there, and I was like home by like 11:30, and everyone was still at the strip club. And the next morning, everyone was like, "Yo, like, what the fuck? What happened?" I was just, it's at the gym, 5:30, 6 o'clock. I like naked women, but not at the strip club.
Gonna go to a strip club, but back then they had those free limos and they kept coming to me and my buddies, and we ended up going to Sapphire. I'm sure you guys have heard of it.
Wait, why would you assume that we have heard of it?
The limo's only free on the way there, never on the way back.
Do that?
Every time I'm in a limo, it feels like forced fun. Ooh, here we are in a limo. Like, who cares?
Just when you're young, like, oh wow, first time in a limo.
buddy who I was talking to the other night, and he's like, you know, he broke up with his girlfriend, and he's like living in LA, and he just, you know, he doesn't really like living in LA, and this and that, and whatever. And he's from here, and he was like, he like wants to come back here or whatever. And I was like, do it, you know? And he was like, yeah, I should. Like, if, like my mom said, like, if I do, she'll give me like $200K to buy a house. I was like, she'll give you $200K to buy a fucking house, like, as a down payment? He was like, yeah. I was like, and why are you not doing this? Like, why have you not jumped all over this shit? And he's like, oh no, and you know, this and that. And it's like, bro, you're paying rent in Los Angeles.
LA vibes, bro.
Right, like, you're paying rent in Los Angeles. It's expensive as fuck. It's like, you know, $3,000 a month for rent, right? And you don't even, like, have a nice place to live. It's like a, you know, whatever kind of apartment. And, like, you broke up with your girlfriend. You got nothing going on. You don't really even like the people there. You don't really like living there. You know, your mom is willing to give you basically $250,000 for free to just fucking come over here and buy a house and shit. And he works remote. He could just pick up his shit and move anytime he feels like it. And the minute he does so, he doesn't have to pay California state tax anymore. So you get like, he makes like $120K a year. It's like you get to keep an extra like $9,000 of your money, or like $8,000 of your money. Like, bro, what is the? This is a no-brainer. And he's just like, yeah, I don't know, you know, like, I don't know, man. I'm thinking about it. But like, bro, why is this like a thing in today's day and age where like so many people are so racked with indecision all the time? Like, this is just such an obvious no-brainer, slam dunk, like, of course you do this, you know? There's no relationship. There's not really many friends. You got money waiting for you in the other city. Your job is remote. And you know people in the other city. And there's no income tax in the other city. Like, what is to be racked with it? Like, I find this, like, it's not just him. The reason I'm complaining about it is because I find this with so many males in our generation. And I wasn't even, like, I wasn't even getting mad at him or anything, but I was, like, trying to, like, compel him to action, which is like, hey, dude, get the fuck up off your ass and just start making some things happen. You know? Just do some shit. It doesn't even have to be the right shit. Just do some shit. Just make some moves. But, like, I don't know, it's like a millennial-aged male thing where they're just like, oh, no, you know, could go either way. And then they just sit there doing nothing. Why is that? It's like so common.
Is he in tech?
Nah, he's in like hospitality.
Does he smoke a lot of weed?
He used to. I don't think he smokes a lot of weed right now. He used to be a big weed guy though.
The California Kush, bro, you just can't get this stuff in Vegas.
It's legal here too, we get the same shit. But, I mean, dude, if you were in his position...
Well, like, $200,000 is the part where it seems like a pretty easy decision to make.
It's a no-brainer.
Absent that one, like, I don't, yeah, whatever, like, it depends on how you do it, like, maybe you grow better even if you can be remote, like, are there people in Vegas or whatever in LA that are doing the thing,
yeah.
Like, you're better off being there, like, you can understand, but, like, you can get a free house if you can, like, that seems worth it.
Dude, houses in Las Vegas, like, for, like, a decent
$1 million house in Vegas is going to be very nice, like, it's not...
Dude, a decent home in a decent neighborhood is like $600K, you know?
Right.
So like $200K is 30% of the home value. Like, and when you move here, you're paid less than you currently pay in rent. It's a fucking no-brainer. And he works in hospitality. He's in the fucking hotel industry.
Yeah.
This is Las
Vegas. Vegas is well, actually, I guess whatever. There are rumors that Vegas is in a downturn, sort of with the hospitality stuff right now.
Yeah, but it's the hospitality industry is popping here.
It's cyclical. It'll come.
Yeah. Like, bro.
What even is a remote hospitality job? Is that he's just like on the phone?
Yeah, he's in like management, you know. So he's like managing some like boutique hotel chain and does like whatever mid-level corporate management shit. He just does it all from his computer.
Yeah.
But dude, you want to talk about like career advancement? And dude, and I tell all this shit to him, and I don't even care if he moves back. Like it doesn't matter to me. You know, like if he moves, if he doesn't, like I'm busy with my family and stuff. Like I probably won't see him much anyway. But just for his fucking sake. I'm telling you, too, this is like common. It's really common. Young males just feel like they can't make a move. And it's like, dude, just make any move is better than no move. Yeah. There's a guy who's 37 years old. And I'm like, what do you really want out of life? Like 10 years from now, what do you want? You're 37 years old. Yeah, it's time to stop being a faggot. And he was like, I want to have like a family. And I was like, okay, well, I was like, bro, you know you're getting kind of old, right? Like, I mean, like, yeah, like dudes can have a family whenever, but like the type of girls that are going to be available to you, you're not like a super rich guy. Like you make, you know, like 120 grand a year. I mean, he's like a decent looking dude, but it's like, you know, you're not going to get the same options of women that were available to you 10 years ago. And if you wait another 5 years, it's only going to get worse.
And the average LA girl is going to be a lot less satisfied with 120K 37-year-old than
not at all. I also think the reason him and the girlfriend broke up is because of his inability to do shit. Like, because of this inaction. I think she was like sick of it. Like, what am I doing waiting around for you to like make a move?
Been together?
They've been together like 10 years. You know?
Well, and he wanted a family? Like what?
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Like, you know.
I mean, he's sitting around kind of, I know, he's like racked by indecision about this and whatever, and I was like, dude, like, there's a reason you never, like, married this girl, you know? Like, for whatever reason, you feel like she was the one or whatever. So, like, I don't know why I'm so upset about you guys breaking up, because, like, is like this. Because I know this isn't just one guy. I know so many guys like this. And they're all in the same sort of just fuck around nothingness void of like, they don't know what to do. They don't know if they should get married, if they should not. If they should keep acting like children, if they should grow up. If they should buy a home, if they should keep running. They just don't know. Everything's just, I don't know, dude. I know so many people like this.
I think it's like an avoidance of feeling like a failure. It's like if I didn't try, then I can't have failed, right? Like, so I'm just, I'm doing fine, you know, everything's fine.
That's probably right, huh? Because they're not risking anything. Like, your 10-year, like, relationship breaks up and it's like, well, it wasn't technically a marriage. So you didn't technically get divorced. So you're not technically a failure. but you're feeling all of the emotions as if you were, you know? Like, I think that's what's going on with them.
Feels like a good time to move, even if it wasn't to Vegas. Just like get out of LA.
Yeah. He's always like, why don't you come visit me in LA? I'm like, bro, every time I'm in LA, I just want to get the fuck out.
You're like, I was actually just there, but I was with my family, so you're talking about.
Well, going to LA too is like, or anywhere in Southern California is, it's very specific. So like, if I'm in Anaheim and you're in Malibu, we might as well be a million miles away from each other, you know?
Right.
Because like,
and it's like,
I'm
it's
not
almost
going,
even rude to like ask them to like come to where, because it is like such a,
it is
basically a trip for them. Like it's like a, you know, for normal people, other parts of the country, like that would be a weekend trip, like the amount of traffic you have to go through to like get to that other area.
There's like a guy who like will be like, why didn't you hit me up, dude? And it's like, dude, because I'm at Disneyland with my kids, you know? That's the other thing, these Peter Pan dudes, they don't like understand like normal life, you know? It's like, this isn't like, we're not in college. I can't just like go have like, you know, 9 beers in the middle of the day with you. I'm like, I got shit to do. I'm like managing like little kids and a family and like my finances and like so many things, you know?
All right, 4 beers, bro.
I really just want to like help like get these dudes out of their fucking dumbass fucking misery bullshit, but I can't do anything to change it, you know? Like, this is a guy I've been talking to about Bitcoin since it was at $200, you know? For years. He's probably had 1,000 conversations with me about Bitcoin.
Still no Bitcoin?
No Bitcoin.
Does he have some XRP at least?
Dude, he had $300,000 from this like car crash he got into. He got like a settlement for like $300K, and he's had that shit for I don't know 10 years, you know, and it's still $300K. And I was like, are you not like investing it or anything? He's like, no, it's just like in like, you know, whatever, like mutual like what's that shit, money market accounts. I'm like, why? I'm so confused by all of the behavior.
That I find really hard to believe. Like, I would just think he would have either spent it or have turned it into like a couple $1 million, you know? Like,
no, it's neither. It's neither.
No, that's the weirdest like result. It's just still $300K. It's very strange.
He's just like stuck. He's like committed to being stuck in place. And dude, it's like not hard. This is the thing that always like gets to me. It's like, it's not hard to change these people's lives and circumstances. It's really easy, in fact. But it's extremely difficult because they won't let you. You know, they're like, you can't put new information into their brain. Like, I could go to you, David, and be like, dude, I just heard about this thing where, like, if you do these steps, you can get $500,000, like, practically for free, and there's, like, zero risk, right? And you would be like, what is that thing? And you would want to know if it's bullshit or not. But you would be genuinely interested in it, right?
Yeah.
If I came to the same person, like one of these people with that, you know, hey, dude, I know how you can get $500,000. They would be like, oh, that's cool. Yeah? Oh, yeah? Oh, cool. Cool, man. They would brush me off, you know? That's the point where I'm always like, okay, what am I doing? What am I doing trying to help?
I feel like he's probably going to move back to Vegas. Like, the free house thing just feels like hard to say no to.
It is hard to say
even if he is in this, like, you know, inertia rut.
I guarantee you, I check in on this guy in a year, he's still going through the same indecision.
Yeah. I mean, him having the 300K, still the 300K though, makes me a lot less certain that he is going.
He'll move back and then he'll be depressed and he'll want to move back there because that's what happens. I have friends like that too. It's like they're stuck in the past and that's all they do is they want to live like this past life they had like when they were in high school. And it's like they don't want to like, you know, advance their life. And it's like you tell them about.
That's what's up with him. He's totally stuck in the past. He can't stop thinking about like all the good times and all this kind of shit. And I was like, bro,
it's past. It's like you got to move on with your future and get.
It's over. Yeah, I was like, that's what I was telling him. I was like, you got to think about the future. Like, what do you want your life to be like in 10 years? You know.
Right, and they're just like, yeah, someday. You know, I'm just like enjoying my thing.
Yeah, he is like a guy that will like want to talk to me about like people we knew from like whatever 20 years ago, and I'm just like, dude, I don't know who that is. You know, it's not even like I don't want to hear about that person. It's like I don't even know who you're talking about. And he's like, oh yeah, you know, we used to like hang out with them at the fucking movie theater and shit. Like go to the skate park with them. I was like, who? Like what? Who gives a fuck? It's so confusing.
The campaign to elect Canada Congressman has begun buying ads on Meta to defeat Darren LaHood.
Yeah, same thing. It's not like one of my friends. He came back because his mom hooked him up and stuff. Then, like 6 months, a year later, he blew it all up and he had to move back to where he came from and is back out there doing basically nothing again, just sitting around like, oh, I pay for my apartment and just sit here all the time, you know, and complain about everything. So, yeah. There's no fixing those people, I think. It's like they're stuck in that, and that's all they're going to do.
There is, though. It's just like there's not a way for someone else to do it. It's just literally you just have to start fucking caring. And like it's really not that hard to advance yourself if you just fucking show up each day. Like you don't even have to show up every day. It's like show up like 4 or 5 days a week. Like that's it.
Because they care and stuff. They just don't have the initiative to do what they need to do to advance themselves to the next level and to come like to the future and like, you know, get an actual career or something like that. It's like they just sit there and they want to live in whatever life fantasy they live in. And that's
if this guy was my son, I would want to wring his fucking neck. Like it drives me up a wall. It drives me insane. Like if I had a son like this, I would literally be going fucking crazy.
Oh, is both his parents still alive? Because that's will be the next thing. Their father, like my friend, his father died, and he just sits there and mourns his father now. Oh, I miss my dad. I wish I could talk to him again.
That's what's going on with my friend. Yeah, his dad died, and he's just sitting there mourning. And I was like, bro, it's been like 3 years since your dad died, dude.
Oh,
like,
yeah. It acts like it was just yesterday or something all the time.
I mean, miss your dad. Like he's your dad. Miss him forever. But like, bro, you gotta get on with your life. It's not honoring your father to like. Your father sacrificed a lot for you to be born, and it's not honoring him to sit here and wallow in grief for years and years. I just know so many people like this. You know?
Did he play football in high school? Maybe that's what it was, too many hits to the head.
No. Not even.
Just skateboarding now. Still gonna have some hits to that.
There you go. Yeah, he hit the head on the railing. There you go.
He was a popular guy in school. He was probably like the most. You know, this is the thing that's funny is like, so when I met him, he was probably like the most popular guy in school, and even just like being friends with him made me popular like out of nowhere, you know. And my wife like has only known him as an adult, and she's like, he's such a loser though, you know. And I'm like, nah, like you don't understand, like he was the man, you know. But like she's like, yeah, you think he was the man because he was the man when you were 14, but he hasn't been the man now for like 25 years or something. And I was like, yeah, it's kind of true. It's kind of true.
You know what? Just get him the little Chinese handheld device with Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2, and he's all set.
There you go.
That'll keep him occupied for at least a week. Got to beat the whole game. Unlock the...
Man. This is one of the biggest things I think about all the time. And I'm not sure why it bothers me. Probably because it's like I fight the feelings in myself, and it's like projection or whatever. But it just bothers me so much when people won't just like get off their ass and do something about their situation. Like, just do anything. Just do it. It doesn't even have to be a good thing or a productive thing or a smart thing. Like, even doing bad things is better than doing nothing. You know? Just like, take a chance, man.
Yeah, I mean,
just do shit.
Start selling drugs or something.
Mm-hmm. Become a Walter White.
Say my name.
New adventure.
Kelly.
You know that from Breaking Bad, right?
Yeah, I know.
That was funny.
Canada Congressman John Kitover, service-connected disabled veteran, has been accused of stolen value in front of clubhouse by Brad Stauffenberger. PM claims that Texas Children's Hospital audio and video recordings have been made in the campaign league teams preparing to fail civil slander defamation.
You know, it's funny. My friends, where I think this could have happened with, they just all had kids young, and then they kind of figured their shit out. Like, which, like, obviously doesn't always work out, but like those things that can fix this.
Even the people I know that are losers that had kids are less losers than they otherwise would have been. You know,
both of these guys are just like mediocre lawyers, but like they're doing perfectly well for themselves. You know, like they just you know went to a shitty law school and you know do whatever sort of ambulance chasing, petty crime defense, whatever kind of stuff. But you know, the kids are doing well. It's, you know, it's worked out.
Yeah. I think with when you go to an Ivy, I think your baseline is a lot higher.
No, this wasn't. This is from high school, but it was a really good high school too. So
yeah, but you went to like prep school, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you go to like prep school, you know, Ivy, the baseline is a lot like higher than it is in public school, state school. You know, people can really fall through the cracks. In public school.
They both did go to public, like, you know, state schools for college because they fucked up the prep school too, right? Like,
yeah,
they had C's or whatever at the prep school, which like was kind of hard to do, right? You had to like actively just not do any work in order to like get below a B, you know. But they were both like pretty good at sports, so then they still got into like decent, you know, state schools. And then just again, like completely blew off college. One of them ended up dropping out and joining the Navy. But yeah, then he got a girl pregnant and then like finished college, you know, went to shitty law school. He's doing pretty well. They've got like 3-4 kids now.
There you go. Just being gainfully employed and having a family is a huge success in today's day and age. Which says a lot about how far we've fallen, because that used to be just everyone.
Well, and to be fair, the other guy that was a part of this group fucking OD'd. Like, that's it. So those are the outcomes. It's like, you know, and like easily could have been them. You know, just they whatever got lucky on that, and or didn't get unlucky on that. I guess is really the way to think.
The lower class is always there to like make the middle class feel better about themselves, you know, because it's like, well, at least I'm not that guy. But it's like, yeah, but you could be so much more. It is hard though, you know, if you're gonna really step out, you're gonna be it's you against the world. There's no cheery consensus. Because when you're doing everything like normal shit, like it's everybody conspires to be like, you're doing the right things. The minute you start doing things the world doesn't agree with, the world conspires to be like, you're bad, you're wrong, you're stupid, you're evil, whatever. And you have to just have enough internal fortitude to just gut your way through that and be like, okay, fuck you. I'm gonna do whatever I'm gonna do anyway. Howl is live. Should we listen to it? Is there gonna be anything interesting in it?
Well, I wonder why he's live. I guess.
Who's live?
Powell.
Oh, okay.
They thought that I was live.
Critical resources. Life-changing research comes to a halt. But when universities thrive, the reverse is true. Students climb higher.
I drove down to Peoria recently. We will do a conference video call first and in person. And second week we have like a meeting all of us.
It's the Greater Providence Chamber of Commerce Economic Outlook Workshop.
Business investment in equipment and intangibles has picked up from last year's pace, largely reflecting the AI build-out. As noted in the September Beige Book, which I bet you wonder what it is, the September Beige Book, that's a report that gathers qualitative information from across the Federal Reserve System. We'll talk about later. Businesses continue to say that uncertainty is weighing on their outlook. Measures of consumer and business sentiment declined sharply in the spring. They have since moved up, but remain low relative to the start of the year. In the labor market, there has been a marked slowdown in both the supply of and the demand for workers, an unusual and challenging development. In this less dynamic and somewhat softer labor market, the downside risks to employment have risen. The unemployment rate edged up to 4.3% in August, but has remained relatively stable at a low level over the past year. Payroll job gains slowed sharply over summer months as employers added an average of just 29,000 per month over the past 3 months. The recent pace of job creation appears to be running below what we call the break-even rate, that is the rate needed to hold the unemployment rate constant. But a number of other labor market indicators remain broadly stable. For example, the ratio of job openings to unemployment remains near 1, and multiple measures of job openings have been moving roughly sideways, not down, as have initial claims for unemployment insurance. Inflation, meanwhile, has eased significantly from its highs of 2022, but remains somewhat elevated relative to our 2% longer-run goal. The latest available data indicate that total PCE prices rose, that's personal consumption expenditure prices, that's the inflation measure that we follow most closely, rose 2.7% over the 12 months ending in August, up from 2.3% in August 2024. Excluding the volatile food and energy categories, core PCE prices rose 2.9% last month, also higher than a year ago. Goods prices, after falling last year, are driving the pickup inflation. Incoming data and surveys suggest that those price increases largely reflect higher tariffs rather than broader price pressures. Disinflation for services continues, including for housing services. Near-term measures of inflation expectations have moved up on balance over the course of this year on news about tariffs. Beyond the next year or so, however, most measures of longer-term inflation expectations remain consistent with our 2% inflation goal. The overall economic effects of the significant changes in trade, immigration, fiscal, and regulatory policy remain to be seen. A reasonable base case is that the tariff-related effects on inflation will be relatively short-lived, a one-time shift in the price level. Now, a one-time increase does not mean all at once. Tariff increases will likely take some time to work their way through supply chains. As a result, this one-time increase in the price level will likely be spread over several years and show up as somewhat higher inflation during that period. But uncertainty around the path of inflation remains high. We will carefully assess and manage the risk of higher and more persistent inflation. We'll make sure that this one-time increase in prices does not become an ongoing inflation problem. Turning to monetary policy, near-term risks to inflation are tilted to the upside, and risks to employment are tilted to the downside, a challenging situation. Two-sided risks mean that there is no risk-free path. If we ease too aggressively, we could leave the inflation job unfinished and need to reverse course later to fully restore 2% inflation. If we maintain restrictive policy too long, the labor market could soften unnecessarily. When our goals are in tension like this, our framework has long called for us to balance both sides of our dual mandate. The increased downside risks
Last
to
chance
have
to
shifted
think
the balance of
before we
risks to
send the
achieve our
vote to
goals. We
collections.
therefore judged it appropriate at our last meeting to take another step toward a more neutral policy stance, lowering the target range for the federal funds rate by 25 basis points to 4 to 4.25%. This policy stance, which I personally see as still modestly restrictive, leaves us well positioned to respond to potential economic developments. Our policy is not on a preset course. We will continue to determine the appropriate stance based on the incoming data, the evolving outlook, and the balance of risks. We remain committed to supporting maximum employment and bringing inflation sustainably to our 2% goal. Our success in delivering on these goals matters to all Americans, and we understand that our actions affect communities, families, and businesses across the country. So thank you again for having me here, and I very much look forward to our discussion. Thanks.
Good afternoon once again, Mr. Chair. Thank you for those opening remarks and reminding us just how tremendously the world has changed and evolved since you were last here in 2019. President of the Federal Reserve Bank of Boston, Susan Collins, is also here with us today. And President Collins, we have had the opportunity many times to discuss with you the conditions in this Fed region, of which Rhode Island is part of the Boston region. So, Mr. Chairman, I would ask you to think about your comments reflecting on the importance, what you have said, the importance of deeply understanding local labor markets. And I'm wondering if in your deliberations leading up to the most recent FOMC meeting, whether there was anything particularly distinctive in what you saw coming out of the Boston Beige Book.
So let me say a word about the Beige Book. So there are 12 reserve banks, as you know, around the country, and each of them has deep ties into not just the business community, but medical community, educational community, nonprofits. And each FOMC cycle, which is sort of 8 of those a year, they do a deep dive and they collect lots and lots of information about the economy. And so, and that information gets collated and put into what we call the Beige Book because it's beige, and we're not that original. And so we get that a couple weeks before each FOMC meeting. And I have to say, I don't know of any source of sort of qualitative information about the economy that even approaches this. It's just a lot of conversation with a lot of people. I personally find it very useful. Sometimes you look at that book and you see significant regional differences, and this is not one of those times. So, for example, the Boston Fed piece in the last Beige Book talked about lots of spending on AI. Well, guess what? That was pretty common across 8 or 9 of the districts. So I would say nothing really jumped out from the Boston piece. But what you saw was all around the country. You saw pretty modest growth, wage and price inflation at modest to moderate levels, the economy growing but not fast, and uncertainty, significant uncertainty about federal public policy is kind of weighing on investments and the decisions about investment and hiring, except in the area of the AI build-out, which is just going really strong pretty much in many parts of the country.
So nothing distinctive from the Boston region that would inform your future decision-making looking at the setting of monetary policy?
What I saw from Boston was quite similar and overlapping with a number of other districts. Again, sometimes that's the case where things are pretty much of a piece. Sometimes different regions, particularly if there's a commodity price thing, you would see maybe things in the commodity-oriented regions doing differently from other regions of the country. Right now, it's much more the same around the country.
So let's talk about and build on what you described a few moments ago about the dual mandate of the Fed. And if you could talk about these conditions that wax and wane over time. What signals will you be looking for in the run-up to the next FOMC meeting, which is in roughly 30 days?
We have two goals, as you mentioned, maximum employment and price stability, and they're equal goals under the law. So almost all the time, they work together. They complement one another. So, for example, when the economy is weak, the unemployment rate might be high and the inflation rate would be low, and that it calls for stimulus from us. And when the economy is really strong, the labor market is tight, that's when inflation will be moving up, and so policy might be a little bit tighter. That's almost always the case. Right now is the quite unusual case where risks to, as I mentioned in my remarks, risks to employment are to the downside and to inflation to the upside. Now, we only have one tool, which is monetary policy, really interest rates, and really it's calling for different answers. So for a long time, we have a document called the Statement on Longer Run Goals and Monetary Policy Strategy. We call it the Consensus Statement at the same time. That says, for a long time, it said that when the two goals are in tension, we'll look at how far each one is from its goal and the time that it's expected to take to get back to that goal. And so we balance the two goals. So what we've done all year, this year, is we've had our policy rate has been tight because inflation has been above our target, but the labor market was very solid. Now, over the last really 4 months, really over the summer, the labor market has softened, payroll jobs have dropped a lot, so we can't really say that anymore. And I think what that told us is that stance of really tight focus on inflation really needs to moderate toward a more balanced approach. And so that's why we took the action we took in our last meeting. But as we go to our next meeting, to your question, we'll be asking ourselves, we'll be looking at the data very carefully, labor market data, growth data, inflation data, all the vast quantities of data that we get, and asking ourselves, is our policy in the right place? And if not, we move it there.
Some may wonder about the frothiness of the markets reaching record heights and also record valuations. How does the Fed think about that in the equation?
Financial markets. So we monitor financial markets very carefully. Our policy works through financial conditions, so that's credit spreads and interest rate levels and equity prices in the aggregate that can affect spending, for example. We look at all of that, but really our focus is on our two goals, and that is maximum employment and price stability. And when we see one of them weakening, we're going to respond appropriately with our tools. And in this case, that meant reducing the federal funds rate by 25 basis points, and we'll see what the future brings, but that's what we do. We look carefully at financial conditions, more from a perspective though of financial stability. So we see that the banks are well capitalized. Actually, in the aggregate, households are in good shape financially. I know people at the bottom end of the income spectrum are under pressure, no question about that. But it's not a time of elevated financial stability risks.
So the federal funds rate really governs consumer credit, but not so as it pertains to mortgage rates, correct?
That's right.
And let's talk about how the average consumer is going to see any difference in the intervening months relative to an easing of interest rates and the ability and maybe even more confidence to spend.
So we don't set mortgage rates, but when we change the federal funds rate, it will affect the mortgage rates and also all other consumer borrowing rates. Really, all interest rates that are on a floating basis will move a little bit or even a lot if they're short term, based on our moves. So the people will feel that over time. Also, it's not just these days. The market is pricing in the next 6 months what's going to happen to rates. So this is something that wasn't really the case, 50 years ago. Now markets listen to us and follow, and they make an estimation of where they think rates are going, and so they'll price things in. And so, longer term rates will move because of what the market expects. Market participants expect us to do. So you'll begin to see, and you're already seeing, changes in rates long before we make the decision. It can often be already, priced in.
Is it fair to say that the Fed and the markets really have a higher tolerance for risk today, more so than perhaps before the pandemic?
I think if you look at some prices, then they're elevated relative to historical levels. There were times before the pandemic when it happens periodically. Equity prices will move up and down, and we do monitor that. But we're not targeting any level of prices for particular financial assets. We don't have a view that we know what the right price of any particular financial asset is. We do look at overall financial conditions, and we ask ourselves whether our policies are affecting financial conditions in a way that is what we're trying to achieve. But you're right. By many measures, for example, equity prices are fairly highly valued.
Let's segue to the topic of AI, and largely AI stocks and periphery stocks really driving the markets in many ways. Let's talk a little bit about the great unknown of AI, and if we think about various ages, our industrial ages, whether it be steam to electricity to the information age, and now to the age of AI, would you consider this to be the most disruptive force ever in modern American history?
I think it's way too early to say that. I wouldn't go that far. I would say clearly generative AI has all the earmarks of emerging technology that could be very important in our economy and in our society. But it's very early to be, to be making that kind of bold statement. So, what we're seeing is companies and institutions like the Fed for that matter, are starting to experiment with what they can, how this new set of tools can be used in our operations. It's very early days on that, and I think we have to wait and see. That's a good thing. I know many of the large financial institutions and other central banks, and we are asking ourselves, how can this help us do our jobs better? And I think it's going to be a period of experimentation over a period of years. And the history is always that there's a lot of fear that technological innovation will eliminate jobs. What has tended to happen in history over time is it just raises productivity and creates new jobs to replace the old jobs. And that happens. And sometimes it can take a long time, but ultimately that has been the pattern for the last couple of 100 years. Is this time going to be different? I just don't think we know yet. I don't think anybody knows.
You are a labor market futurist, also a historian, and the concept of AI and humans in the loop, very profound impact on the labor force. What are your thoughts about specifically agentic AI as a differentiator from generative AI, and how will the Fed be looking at the impacts of the workforce, the labor participation rate, given the unknown of what could happen with displacement around AI tools at all ends of the spectrum?
Our tools work on demand, basically. Lower interest rates, higher interest rates, they work on demand. When there are structural changes in the economy, there's not a lot that an interest rate change can do for that. And so if you're talking about distributional issues or labor force participation or retraining or any of the things that come to mind in connection with those questions, that's really going to be something for legislators and the private sector. We of course, we have many labor economists, and a good portion of them are studying what the potential effects of AI on the labor force, and many great economists around the country and around the world are publishing on that now. It really is too early to say. I think you can say that some jobs are going to be phased out, some jobs are going to evolve, and people are going to be further trained and that sort of thing, and be able to keep a job like that. And there'll be new jobs that come. And how will that balance work out, and what will be the timing of it? I think it's just quite hard to say.
But how does that factor into the deliberations on a near-term basis? Things are moving so quickly, and the observation and the argument that artificial intelligence isn't just impacting those entry-level jobs and those quasi-unskilled jobs, but really tentacles reaching into highly skilled professions, whether it be finance, whether it be communications and media, whether it be healthcare, whether it be law, finance. So all ends of the spectrum, highly educated individuals down to more easily automated tasks. Sort of a really interesting problem for those of you that are studying labor market economics. How do you approach that?
Well, a lot of what we're doing with our time is trying to understand the current position of the economy, what's actually going on in the economy today. Pardon me. So part of that is hiring rate has really dropped. Job creation has dropped very sharply. So what are the factors there? So I mentioned earlier, I think, part of it just is there's a lot of uncertainty about the direction of public policy, and so companies are holding off. They're not hiring, and when you don't hire through attrition, your labor force shrinks, and you save money that way. That may be a way of passing on tariff costs. It may be something like that. So that's happening. Lots of questions around whether AI is a major factor associated with the relatively low hiring rate for people just graduating from school and just entering the labor market. And people are doing studies on that. And I looked at one from Stanford, another from the New York Fed in the last week. And the sense of it was, we think we can find some evidence that generative AI is having some. It's one of the reasons here, but we can't really say it's the main reason. And we have our Jackson Hole conference every year in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, and we had some great labor economists, and one of the big debates was what's going on with AI, and it was a professor from, I want to say, Columbia, who just basically said there's no evidence that this is acting any differently than other. Her view was not acting any differently from other technological movements, waves, and so I think she would be more at the end of an optimist, a techno-optimist. We've all, there are books out there that will tell you the world is ending, and but I don't think we know. Again, I think we're going to see how this evolves, and again, if it does turn out to be something where labor force participation really declines in a way creates social difficulties. That's going to be something that legislators and the private sector will have to address. We just don't know that yet, though.
Over the weekend, I read where you had been discussing, just picking up on what you said about Gen Z and college graduates and any possible disruptions in trying to find jobs. So Gen Z would be those born between 1997 and 2012, roughly ages 13 to 28. What are your thoughts on college enrollment? We'll talk a little bit about labor disruption in just a minute, and Jackson Hole, because I know that's a favorite of yours. But a lot of the individuals in this room today may have family members that fall squarely in that 13 to 28 category. What would you say about that?
I mean, again, we all see the data that it's just gotten tough for people just entering the labor force to be hired. But remember, the overall national aggregate hiring rate is at very, very low level. The layoff rate is also at a very, very low level. You're in a low fire, low hire economy. And it feels like companies are they've kind of stopped hiring or slowed down their hiring because they want to see how this all shakes out. We're having very important changes to economic policy in the United States, and companies and people are wondering, how's that going to work out? So I think that's part of it. The other thing I would add, though, is, there's a lot of good scholarship around technological innovation and inequality, if you will. And the sense of it is really that if schools and society give students graduating the skills and aptitudes they need to benefit from evolving technology, you can have declining inequality over time. And that's what the United States had for many, many years, up until about 1970, when U.S. educational attainment kind of plateaued and inequality takes off. So it's really down to having the skills. So kids who come out of school today with technological skills and can work with this new technology, they're probably going to be fine. They're going to be great. If you don't have those skills, though, you're increasingly left with less attractive employment options. So in a way, it's an educational issue.
Our society is our education system, and you spoke about inequality, particularly the digital divide, and thinking about where the United States really has paced among countries throughout the world. Particularly, that was a subject that you initiated at Jackson Hole back in August. What are your thoughts on how that is likely to really change the way we look at technology as a force for productivity and advancement?
Technology has been raising incomes and productivity for really a couple hundred years since the Industrial Revolution. It's been an amazing thing for the quality of human life, and there's no reason why that has to change. In the United States was the first country to have gender-blind secondary education, and if you go back, you'll see that there's a great book on this, but just basically the U.S. had fast technological innovation for a century, and also declining inequality because people were coming out and their educational the capabilities they took out of the educational system gave them the ability to benefit from evolving technology. So, and that's really the key, because technology, what it does is it makes us more productive. One summer I worked on a project that was building houses, and I basically had a shovel and I just dug most of the summer. And now that would be a Bobcat, which can do 100 times the work, no blisters, no water breaks. It's just much more productive. And you see housing production has gotten, at least it did get for a while, much more productive, but not so much lately. But that I think is the story. And while U.S. educational attainment, college graduation rates and things like that leveled out, they're still going up. The rest of the world caught on and has really caught up in terms of educational attainment. And that really is the key. To your point, your educational system, your country is your educational system ultimately. It's the people that come out and what can they do, and a variety of other factors too, obviously. But I think that's a key element. I'm struck by this, Mike, because this was a major factor at our recent conference, and we had a great conversation about it.
Well, tell us about the book. Gave me a homework assignment the other day, so I did download it, but I think everyone should follow that lead.
All right. It's a book's called The Race Between Education and Technology. It's by Claudia Golden and Larry Katz, two
Who lied to you about the
economists.
safety,
It basically talks about the race between education and technology. So I recommend that to anybody. It was written in, I want to say, 2005, and they basically presented it, Jackson Hole presented an update to the current day to find what the findings basically hold. It's a very, I'm not a PhD economist. I read it 20 years ago.
But you said it still holds very much true today.
It does. And I think it's a good explanation for why the U.S. has had, rising inequality. This is their thesis, and I think it's they call it skill bias technical change. So you need skills to benefit, but if you have those skills, then technology makes you more productive, and that's what we need. Incomes can only rise if productivity is increasing. We're sort of working as many hours as we can work now. So it really is down to how much output can you have in an hour, and that's productivity. So I would recommend that. I'm not getting any royalties for that, but by the way, Claudia Golden won prize for her work about 2 years ago. So I'm not the only one who thinks it was good work.
Chair Powell, let's move on to tariffs. This is an issue that confronts the business people and here with us today. You addressed it very briefly in your opening remarks. You indicated that you believe that the costs of the tariff movement is in fact more transitory than embedded in supply chain. So I think we would appreciate hearing more about how the Fed thinks about evolving tariff policy.
So we're now collecting a good bit of revenue. The federal government collecting a good chunk of revenue, $300 or $400 billion a year pace. And the question is, who's paying that? And the candidates for paying those tariffs would be the exporter, the foreign exporter, or someone on our shores. It could be a company or a retailer, or someone who's using the imported product to manufacture something, or the end consumer. And so so far, in its incredibly early days, it doesn't look like the overseas exporters are carrying the bulk of it. It looks like it's that middle group. It's retailers and it's importers, and they're not passing along to consumers that much of the cost. So the actual effects on inflation have been quite modest so far. It's really not. It's a small amount, but I mean, for example, I mentioned that core PCE inflation is 2.9%. Maybe 0.3 or 0.4 of that is tariffs. So it's not the big factor. It's not a big inflationary thing, but it is something that is driving up inflation a bit. And the question is, are companies then, are they going to eventually be able to pass that stuff through, and then that might drive inflation up a little higher? So we've been watching this since the beginning. Half our mandate is inflation, and I would say that the pass-through to consumers has been later and less than we expected. How much of that will continue, I don't know, but the responsible thing from our standpoint was to watch and wait, because it's our job to make sure we don't make a mistake on inflation.
Well, that was my question. Do you imagine that is going to change, where the cost of tariffs will be more deeply embedded and passed on to the consumer? What do you foresee as...
So our forecast, and I think almost all the forecasts are for there to be a one-time pass-through, which will go through the end of this year, well into next year, and at the end of next year, the one-time increase from the tariffs will be done, and you'll be back to the non-tariff related inflation, which should be much closer to our 2% goal. That's almost everyone's base case. It's actually our job to make sure that that's the outcome, though. So we can't be in a situation where we're just going to assume that. We can't leave that part of the goal unguarded. And so that's why we've been careful about cutting. We didn't want to cut too early. I mentioned in my remarks, if we cut too early, we may find out in a year that inflation actually wasn't under control. It's back up to 3.5% or 4%. No one thinks this is the base case, but that's the risk of cutting too early or too much. Of course, the risk of cutting too late, as I mentioned, is that we unnecessarily, the labor market weakens unnecessarily. There's no risk-free path, and it's a very difficult policy environment when your two goals are telling you two different things. You've got to make a compromise, and we really, again, haven't been in that situation for many, many years. It does happen, but it's happened now, and we'll manage our way through it. But we sort of have to look at both of them as equal. We can't just say we're going to do this one and not that one, unless this one is clearly a greater risk. And now they're coming into closer balance, I would say. We do see meaningful weakness in the labor market now, very low job creation. The unemployment rate's still low, though, and the quits rate is low, and a lot of things suggest that the labor market has reached a kind of unusual stability of much lower demand and much lower supply for workers. It's a really unusual kind of a balance, if you want to call it that, but nonetheless, we think it's downside risk.
Well, if you could elaborate, what are some of the factors that are leading to depressed demand for labor?
So depressed demand for labor, based on surveys and talking to people who are doing hiring, a big chunk of it is that they're just unsure about what to do. Businesses, and I'd love to talk to people after this. Businesses don't want to do a lot of hiring. They may be postponing major capex, major initiatives, major acquisitions, and they'll replace workers who retire, but they're not looking to grow. This isn't every company and every part of every company in the world. It's just an effect kind of at the margin. That's got to be part of it. I think that's the demand side. The supply side, of course, has a lot to do with immigration policy. So immigration was at a very high level for 2 or 3 years before this year, and now immigration has really gone close to zero, and immigration is not really contributing to the labor force growth now, whereas it's been most of what the labor force growth was, and now so at the same time you've got declining demand and also declining supply of workers, of new workers.
One of your passions is demystifying the Fed. You enjoy speaking about it, and those that are Fed watchers are wondering, will there in fact...
Damn, my shit crashed. Couldn't take it. Well, maybe it's a good time to end all this. This is Candidate John. Go to John for